Look at that truck smack. Tell you what, that's not bad, dog. Anyone I've ever met, stop on your heart. I hang on every word you say. Oh, right. I'm gonna get a suntan for my missus. No. Next. No. Nobody belonged to me in Newcastle, mate. Yeah, nobody belonged to me in Newcastle in all fairness, mate. In fact, I've never been to Newcastle. I was in the Priory near Newcastle, sorry, my bad way. It'll come to me in a minute. I know it begins with a fucking D, man. Darlington. Yeah, that's it. The Priory. I stayed there for 4 weeks. I've never been to Newcastle, like, but I was near there. That's it, Christine. Do you know what I didn't realise was, right? It's £600 a day in the Priory. Have you ever been? I've been. Oh, it's miles away from Newcastle. Okay, my bad, Christine. Not too sure on the geography, but I know they sent me there for 4 weeks. Get up here, Bowsy. What are you listening to? But yeah, I've been in the Priory in Darlington and it was £600 a day. Now, It was £600 a day. So add that up by 28 because I know I was there for 28 days. 4 weeks, £600 a day. Work it out. Now, I have friends that have spent thousands of pounds on rehab, like me old pal Spencer. He spent 20 grand on treatment. You know, like you're looking at £18,000 or something, you know, it's not small money, you know. It's like in order, like I've been to the best facilities in this country money can buy. You know, but if you're not ready, nobody can help you. You can fucking sit with God for 28 days. It's not going to help you unless you want it. And another thing, you need to admit it first to yourself because there's no point in going. Like, I'll be honest with you, if you don't admit that you have a problem, places like the Priory can't help you. You know, the best places you can pay for can't help you unless you're not ready or willing to make that sacrifice, and you have to make that step. You know, £600 a day for 4 weeks. I wasn't there because I wanted to go. That's where they sent me, but I was in the psychiatric part. You know, the Priory doesn't just take addicts, they take people that are mentally really unwell. What are you lying for? Experience. Have you ever been to Priory? Do you know who I met when I was in there? Stephen Hawking. No, what's his name? His name is Stephen something, I forget his name. A famous person. He's been in loads of TV. His name is Stephen something, not Stephen fucking Hawking, Stephen something. And the guy was very troubled. And I spoke to him, I was like, I've seen you on telly. How are you? Now we're going out to catch the sun. Oh. In the sun is the only way. Yeah. Back to basics. This is my bit of heaven. Fuck YouTube. I've got my own space here. Biggest gaff on the fucking manor, me. Biggest garden in the manor. Probably the most expensive house on the fucking housing estate. According to blueprints and stuff like that. You understand? Big garden. Right next to the Etihad. Who was to imagine that? You know, they say, before that Etihad was built, you know, after it was built, your house value went up 2.5 times. That's what they said. Can you hear that? Now, it's as tranquil as you'll get here. This is Manchester, but it's my little piece of Manchester. You know, I love trees and bushes and grass, and they're all connected, you see, because I'll tell you a little thing about nature. You see them trees up there, right? You know, in the sun, like days like this, do you release neurotoxins into the air? Plants, bushes, flowers. And Einstein even said it. He said, if the bee was to cease existence, this planet would die in 4 years. You see? Can you hear that? Can you hear the birds? I don't know about you, but I've got a lot of big trees around me and they make me feel calm for some reason, and especially on a hot day like today is. Don't mind all that there. Do you know which way are we going? No, look, I believe things happen for a reason, you know. I totally believe that everything in life happens for a reason. Uh, excuse me. Now, you're going to have to stay there. Now, hey Max, it's just about... Honestly, you come in, I was just about to say that Max and Finn have buried the hatchet in each other's head. So everything's good, they're not dead, you know, and the spaceship is intact. No, Max, listen, that happens. Don't worry about it. Hey, and you know, when you left, Finn come in and he said, bro, tell Max I'm really sorry for what I said, you know. I was like, oh, bro, I've already told her. Finn will apologise. And he did. No shit. I get it. Haven't you forgot? Bills. How about having 3 baby mothers? You know. Well, listen to me. Max, do you know what? You made my job easier. It's like, because when we admit things, when we're wrong, you know, and I told Finn, I said, look, Max is having a fucking bad time at the minute, bro, you know. Even though it's no excuse, but Finn said, bro, just tell Max I'm sorry, and he apologised to the chat and all. So, there's no bother there. Like I said, no, but that's the kind of person Finn is. You know, I knew, because it's rare I have to say to you, Max, you know, please, because you're making this hard for me, you know, because it's like I want everyone to get along, you know. And I thought you were messing. I looked at the chat and I said to Finn, I said, Finn, you need to understand, you called her a fucking tramp in my life. You know, and other people were watching that, even though there wasn't many in the live. It's like, if I didn't say something to Finn, it's like people would say, hang on a minute, Jude. You know, you claim to be noble, but yet you won't check your boy. Fuck yeah, mate. Listen, I've been here before, and I don't want to fall out with anybody on YouTube, because we all only have a limited amount of time on this fucking earth, and I learned a little bit about YouTube, and if I can help, like, Lena, Finn, Max, Raymond, I knew fuck all about YouTube, and the truth be told, when I look back at when I first come on, I was way out of my depth. Hey, Pac-Man, I didn't know nothing about YouTube. I didn't realise how deep the rabbit hole actually was. And PD come on the channel, come on the cesspit one night, everything was going grand. There was 1,600 people in the live. They were all getting bullied by me. Not that I'm a tough guy or anything like that. It's like, because they were picking on people that I got along with, and I didn't like it. They were taking fucking liberties. When you need Hector to be in charge of your security, you know you're fucked. I said, listen, you, Mitchell and man, your Mrs. bonneted you. You don't me, I'd see you a mile away, do you understand? You need to apologise to a few people, and he did. And then they all betrayed me. So I said, fuck yous then. I helped build your shit channel. Yeah, and I was the first one to jump off, because they all turned on each other, and I could see where it was going. And I was like, I'm jumping now, while I still have my integrity attached. You know, and to this day, I've kept my integrity by not calling any content creator out. because you'd ring the police for me, you know, and I don't give a flying fuck, you know, I can fight. Do you understand? I'm good at it. I used to teach it. I was a coach. Do you understand? And I will spark you out like that. Bang! You won't even see, you won't have time to react. I might be 51 and the next addict, but know this. I've got 3 good bangs in that, right? And I've probably 2 on that, but know this. I do not miss. The best leg kicker of all time was Bruce Lee. And I must have watching Enter the Dragon about 100 times and rewound certain parts back on his technique, and nobody's ever going to be anything like the master, like Bruce Lee. Do you understand? And over the years, loads of people like that love mixed martial arts have watched his movies, and this geezer was like stupid crazy fast, right? And I'll admit this now, growing up, I wanted to be like Bruce Lee. How about that? Yeah. Like, you know, it's like the geezer, he was just super quick, like it was insanely quick. You've no time to react, you know, and it's like all my life, like the biggest fighting role model as far as I'm concerned, and because of his teachings to be Bruce Lee, you know, he died too young, tragedy. But the geezer, like, I've never seen anyone quicker, you know, like the way he was on his feet. Do you understand? Being able to change stance like that, go from orthodox to southpaw like in seconds, you know, and I've always tried to kick like him and learn his technique over the years, and I managed to fucking, yeah, nail it. You're stood in front of me and I think that you're gonna hurt me. My hands are sore. I'm just gonna head kick you. And you'll realise I'm not a tough guy or a hard man or a fighter man. I don't need to be once I'm precise or accurate. I just need to catch you right in the head or the chin. You know, and you won't have time to react, and I'll go, ha! Look what an old man just did to you. And I'll video it. And you know what I'm like here? Either I'm getting embarrassed in front of the world, or you are. Because you're not going to mark my face, mate. I will wait for you to just react, and I'll react. I will give you cerebral edema, but I didn't mean it. If be, you'll scream it. I don't miss. My brother will tell you that. Now, my brother done Muay Thai for years, and like his trainers were grandmasters and masters, and that's on my baby's life. That's the level. One was a grandmaster and another one was a master. Master Woody, and I'm sure his name was Master Corinne. Both my brothers used to work for this guy, Pac-Man. And in his country, he's treated like royalty because he's a Grand Master in Muay Thai. He opened up the International Muay Thai Federation in Manchester. Over his restaurant, he built a gym. I'm not sure which one. Ow. I always get confused with Woody and Corinne. Master Woody. But one was a master and one was a grandmaster, am I right? Yeah. Okay. So, I was just saying to you there, right? My brother worked for this guy, right? And you know something, you see the Thai people, you know, Buddhists, you know, you don't swear in front of a man like this. And you know what? The guy was a midget. And my brother said to me, bro, I watched him disarm a guy who was pushing a pregnant woman. He stopped his van in town. My brother was in the back of it, both of them. And this geezer was hitting a pregnant woman, and the geezer was a big fucker, yeah? He told him to stop what he was doing. Do you know what he said to him? Fuck off, you chink. He wasn't even a chink. He's from Thailand. Do you know what that meant? He disarmed him, didn't he, Al?
Yeah.
He dismantled him. You know, calling him that name. You see men like that, you don't swear in front of. You want to earn their respect. And the ambassador and the CEO of the International Muay Thai Federation in Manchester taught my brother Mark how to fight. Like, he taught Mark how to. Do you understand? It's like. And I remember when my little brother brought home pads for the first time. It was fucking brilliant, it was, you know. And he's handy. Do you understand? My brother Mark can fight proper, and he'll hurt you. Me and my brothers for years, we've had fist fights on lives. Pablo will tell you. You know, but we love each other. You know, and I die for my brothers. I die for them and I die with them. And they know it, and so does every cunt on my housing estate too. You know why? Because we've lived here for 3 decades. And on this housing estate, there's more Irish people here than there is anywhere else in Manchester. You know, and I'm balls deep in the middle. And they all love me, allegedly. You know, because they've seen me fight. You know, earned their respect. I don't need to make videos or post videos or tell you, guess what? I'm a tough guy, I'm a hard man, or a fighter man. I'm not. But all the gypsies on this housing estate are my 2 brothers. If I wasn't here and you asked them that question, can their big brother fight? Me tongue's yellow because of the tea. I look like a fucking dragon. But like I said, martial arts isn't about hurting people, and if you're going into martial arts to hurt people, you're in it for the wrong reasons. You know, you go to learn how to defend yourself, and when you acquire that skill set, you use it at your discretion whenever you fucking need it. You see that that lad yesterday, TJ, that Ghanaian, see him, I was his first coach. Do you understand? And you know what? He loves me like a father, because I was like his father. You know, and he ended up going on to uni and going on to doing a master's in engineering. A master's, a PhD basically in engineering. And he come off the same street my son come off, and they both went to uni together. Just because you're from a rough housing estate doesn't mean you're stuck there. You know, you might be stuck there, but I'm not. And me kids aren't either. You know, education's the way forward. My lad, he's 31, he's already got his degree. You know, he's smashing it. You know, I was a lot older when I got mine. Every job I was in, after work I studied, because I wanted a better life for me kids. You know, I wanted to prove to myself and to my family that I didn't want a cent of that drug money. Keep it. I hope you can sleep well at night. And you know something, I should have keeping loads of it, and I can't sleep at night. You know, cunts that do all bad in the world seem to get more sleep than everybody. Hey, look at me some tan look. I'm working on it. Yeah, fucking hell, Max. Today you nearly caused carnage, but I knew you and Finn were having a bad day. And I'm not joking, you couldn't apologise enough, you know. He's like, bro, I feel wounded. Can you apologise to everyone on the chat and Max from me? I was like, listen, this is an isolated incident. We can deal with this in house. You know, so shout out to Max and Finn, because they have this gift, you see, the gift of forgiveness. You see, this is what you need to understand. If you're a Christian, you just can't forgive the people that did bad on you. You have to forgive everybody. I'm being honest. You know, it's like I wasted half of my life trying to get myself into a position where one day I had my own villa, my own boat, without me mates. That's what I wanted at 18. I wanted to save enough money and buy a boat, me first one. And me mates fucked it up for me. You know, so when I come back from England, when my son was born, I said, I know what I need to do. You know, like I ended up selling heroin. And that's unforgivable because you're ruining communities. But when you're an addict, you don't give a flying fuck. Fuck the community. You're a selfish bastard. And you only think about me. And you don't think about the people around you that you're putting in danger. Collateral damage, it's called. You know, my mates fucked me over, and I said, you know what, you won't get a second chance to do it. So, I was raised with a lot of tough guys. I learned from them all. Might have, could have, of a bit more than that. Don't let them fool you. Old enough to be our daddy. Silly gideras, they say in Latin, for the uneducated. Pagans. It's better than what it was. Because earlier on I spewed me guts up, you know. Like I said, I've got bad stomach problems that will not go. You know, but at the moment, in all fairness, I'm good. I'm 50 years old, mate. I didn't think I needed to tell the world how old I am in my own channel. But 51 this year, mate. In August. I'm getting old, bro. And I'm too tired and old. And while I'm on the YouTube community, I'm here to do the community a service. Thank you, that's fine. You seem gay. Do you suck dick? Sorry about that. Real quick. Yeah, you're sucking on it now, aren't you? Fuck you. Things are about to get messy. Get up, yo! No, I'm gonna make a joint first. 51 old enough to whoop your ass on the grass. No shoes though, or trainers. Have bollocks, will travel. Also an Irish passport. Do you understand? I'd snap kick you in the head and you wouldn't even see it until you're waking up. What happened? You just knocked you out, and guess what? You've gone viral already. You're trending, you big fairy. Fucking just go snap. And I don't miss. Do you know what else I always try to do? I'll tell you another thing. So, I'm 6 foot tall, right? Now, many years ago, when I learned how to kick, and I'm not talking of football, I'm talking about heads, being cerebral edema, and I didn't mean it. You see, I kicked a fella in the head once, and do you know what happened to him? He got sick. And guess what else? He had kids. And because I couldn't control my temper, I put a fella on a ventilator several times. Once when I was in prison, a couple of times, it doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is, he was a father. And I lost my balls, in all fairness, because I could have killed somebody and gone to jail for it, not meaning to. I just wanted them not to get up. You know, because if this geezer had gotten up, he'd have seriously hurt me. You know, I didn't. Look at, I was in fear for my life. What do you want me to do? You see, when I learned how to kick, you see, it wasn't just how to kick, it was how high I could kick. You see. And my dad learned me how to fight as a kid. Me mates, any of my friends back home will tell you, you know, you fucking hit me, we're fucking having, it's happening. But somebody taught me how to kick properly. You know, I watched other people's technique. I wanted to be able to do it properly. Do you understand? And you don't forget to ride a bike. You know. There's certain things in life that you don't forget. You know. Now, like I said, if you want to, or you get into mixed martial arts because you want to hurt somebody, it's not for you, you see, because you're meant to be disciplined. Do you understand? Everything in that sport is about respect. No language, even if you're from Ballyferm or Cherry Orchard. No language. You see, when you've been around world champions, ambassadors and CEO of the International Muay Thai Federation in Manchester, when you've been around people who have caliber, like status in Thailand, being grandmaster, master, you know, in Thailand, yeah, you know, if you're a master or a grandmaster in Muay Thai, yeah, you're treated like a king. Do you understand? You know, them Buddhists, there's a big, everything is about respect, and if you swear in front of them, you'll know about it. You see. How are you, Spencer? So, my brother Mark done Muay Thai for about 10 years. He could have played football, my brother, but he went from football to Muay Thai, and it's like, I remember like the first time he brought home about £1,000 water pads, you know, everything, you know, like just to sharpen his tools. Do you understand? I used to spar with him, and he's precise and he's accurate. And You don't need to be a tough guy or a hard man or a fighting man when you can jab the face off someone. Do you understand? And know it too. And I truly believe that if you get into that sport because you want to hurt people, that's the wrong reasons. Hey Lee, bro, I'm having a bit of a meltdown, I'm sorry. Well, it's the fucking heat. I'm at me mass. Come over for a cup of tea if you want. Shout out to Lee Marvin Hitchman, guys, in the chat. If you've not bought his fucking book, can you go and do it? Best book on YouTube. Yeah, fuck you, Exposure TV. Here, how about this, right? I'll give props to two authors on here, yeah? Number one is Lee Marvin Hitchman, and number two is Billy Moore. Fuck Darren G. How about that? You pussy. Well, he's not a pussy, that'd be a lie. Because he's got more, he's got balls, but like I said, that's not my argument. Bro, I'm not up this end. Like I said, bro, earlier on I was throwing buckets up. Do you understand? Today isn't the right day for it. Honestly, on me live earlier on, bro, I was puking me ring up. But I promise you, I will message you later on. I do forget, Lee, you know. Yeah, and like I said, see him, if you've not subbed to, if you've not bought Lee Marvin Hitchman's book, Born in Prison, guys, it's fucking, see the reason why I like this guy and the reason why I like his book, now I don't need to say this, but since I come out of hospital, see Lee's book was very easy for me to read because I could understand it. Do you understand what I mean? Like, I'll be honest with you. Many years ago, in a jail far, far, far away in a land where there was loads of dons that wanted you dead. Now, if they had sent 3 Lee Marvin Hitchmans to my cell, I would have been dead. So shout out to Mr. Monk. Yeah, you sent 3 stoudies into a gorilla's fucking cell. And what happened, your boy? I smashed your boy with a radio in the eye, didn't I? Tuned in. He will know, fuck your face. You know, that kind of way. Oh, but I'm lucky I got out of that jail with me life. You know what I mean? Like, see, Lee was born for this. Do you understand? He was born in prison. When I was in jail, I was terrified. You know why? Because I was on me fucking own. That's why. You know. And anyone who said they're not scared when they first go to jail, listen, I don't know about you, but I was scared. Because I had half the wing wanting me dead. Do you understand? Because of who I was and because of what I did. Being selling in a fucking nightclub. And then 6 years later, when I go to the jail, they didn't forget. And they sent a fucking hit squad into me cell. Do you understand? To hurt me. I wasn't going to see my son again. We'll fucking see about that. One of you put your hands on me, go on. Mate, you better make sure that I'm not behind you at any time. I just want to do me jail. I'm not letting me jail do me. If you put your fucking hands on me, I fucking will go out of my way because every other cunt is watching you on that landing. And if you don't react, every cunt's going to come and take something out of your cell. Christine, thanks for coming in. Like I said, Lee is an author, right? He was born in prison, literally. And some people are made for it and some people ain't. And I'll be honest with you, I've said this many times. I was terrified when I went to prison first. You know, I knew I wasn't a fucking tough guy because I was surrounded by them. I was afraid to come out of my cell some days. Do you understand? Because I was an easy target. You know, I wasn't clicked up with anybody. I was in the wrong prison. If they had sent me to Wheatfield up in Clondalkin, I would have been more safer. But all the fact, because I was from a location and I was in the wrong destination, you know. Lee, I'll be honest with you, I've loads of mates that have done fucking years in jail, and bro, I knew that was never for me, bro. I wouldn't say I was smarter than me mates, but bro, jail wasn't for me. You know, I'll admit it. Bro, you were born for that shit, not me. You know, and you probably knew half the jail when you went in there too, bro. Exactly. Bro, I read your fucking book. Do you understand? This is why I always make reference to that. I've read your book, and if they had a sending 3 you into my cell, I was severely compromised. You know, bro, you know it's not personal. It's just a job. You understand me? It was just work. That's it. I've no issue with you. Hey, you've just took his eye out. I've no issue with you. You fucking have now. You know, and I was terrified, I'll be honest with you. You know, anyone who says they're not scared when they go into jail, well, if you went into this jail, being Mountjoy Prison in Dublin, in the centre of Dublin, and the only violation I did wrong was working in a nightclub that didn't belong to me, that belonged to another guy who didn't want to pay another guy for working in the city. And I was only a kid. I was 15 at the time. And 6 years later, when I went to Mountjoy Prison, I was only in there 3 days. And they knew I was there. And you know what? They put a green light on me. I didn't even know what that meant. Do you understand? I said to Sam Maguire, I said, Sam, sorry, me mate's big brother come over to me and he said, Jewett, what have you done to the Hutches and the Mitchells? I said, nothing. Why? He said, bro, they're coming for you. I was like, you what? I thought he was just trying to scare me. And I'll tell you what, he done a great job of it, but he wasn't. He was trying to let me know that I was getting a knock at the door. And I went into my cell and I spewed my guts up. I was terrified. My mind was working crazy. How creative these guys are. How they can hurt you. They can blind you, poison you, stab you, hang you. Do you know, in the jail I was in at the time, some fella was hung and he didn't do it himself. Do you understand what I'm saying? No questions asked. You know, this kid, it's like he was probably one of the most smallest in the fucking on the land, and these people really bullied this kid. It's like, and he ended up hanging himself. And they were laughing about it. They thought it was hilarious, you know. His mother was broken, you know, and they're laughing. You know. The Liverpool supporters with the blue flares, man, that's fucking, bro, I'm not even got, like I said, I've said congratulations. I've a lot of mates that are Liverpool fans, you know, and I said it last year, Liverpool would win the league, you know. And I truly believe that all them fans up in heaven, all 97 of them, didn't die in vain. You know, and I'd like to say congratulations to all the Liverpool fans, all my friends on YouTube who are content creators. I'd like to shout out to Conan, congratulations. Shout out to Lucifer J, congratulations. And fuck Jerry and his face. Shout out to Jerry the Jinx. You scouse bastard. Congratulations. You are the best team in the land. You know, and you are there on merit. Like, I'm a Man United fan here. Do you understand? And it hurts me, you see. you know. But since I've been in Manchester, yeah, I come here in 1993. I've never seen Man United in this position at this time of the season. You know, like winning the Europa League, is that going to make up for finishing 14th? Yeah, it'll get us into the fucking Champions League. But still, you know, if Pedro was to go and win the Champions League next season, that'd be payback for this season, what we've had. But when it comes to the Premier League, if you play 4 at the back, you've got a better chance of winning. Spencer, remember when I said to you when Tyson Fury retired, they were going to announce the Fury AJ fight. It's coming, Spencer. I can feel it. It's coming. Daniel Dubois, Usyk, who's going to win? Spencer McDermott. Tell me. Go on, tell me. Spencer, we've not had a talk about boxing in ages. The missus is fucking me out. She doesn't love me anymore. Nah, joking. We had a bit of a discussion. But the mental health hasn't been great the last while, bro. You know what I mean? It's like, and a lot of people have been putting their names in the descriptions of my videos. But for the last week or so, I just stopped, you know, and take some time for me, bro. You know, no cunt help me when I come on YouTube except for Ronan and Pablo and a few other people. Conan helped me. In all fairness, shout out to Conan, congratulations on the Premier League. Shout out to Lucifer J. Congratulations on the Premier League. And finally, congratulations to Jerry the Bollocks Jinx. Yeah. Like, I love football, so all year I'm gonna get tormented by the Liverpool fans, but you know what, I enjoy it. You know why? Because it's all part of the sport. As fans, like, our emotions sometimes, like, this year I'm an Irishman that lives in Manchester 32 years nearly, right? On and off, yeah? Say. And it's a football city, just like Liverpool is. You know, you have everything. You have Liverpool, Tranmere, whoever fucking follows Tranmere Rovers and nowadays. Accrington Stanley, exactly. But this year, like I said, when you have people like Mo Salah in your team and Trent and, you know, a few other players, you know, it's like, I'd be honest with you, I have to give kudos to this manager. Because in the first season he's delivered a fucking title, Spencer, you know, and everything, it's a results game, everything's about results, you know, and it's like you have to give it to the guy. There's a lot of Man United fans. First of all, what people don't understand is, yeah, I probably made about 16,000 football videos. We aware of that? Look, there he is in there, fuck off! I was just saying congratulations and fuck your face. Man, this is worse than fishing, this, man. This is gonna be a horrible year for me with that cunt, man. This is worse than not catching fish, you know. But Jerry, like I said, Liverpool deserve it this year, you know, and we've got family that live up there. Hey, bro, Jack, they all support Liverpool, don't they? Except the dad. Now listen, Manchester United have been the worst I've ever seen them since Fergie took over. Where you off? Where are you? Alright, bro. Spencer, there's a lot of Man United fans that will not give the Scousers credit because they fucking hate each other. You know, now, bro, I don't hate anyone, especially if they're from Liverpool. You know, it's football, but as a city, I fucking love it. You know why? The people are like the Irish, Spencer. Scousers are very endearing. You know, they're very likeable people. You know, I get on with all the Scousers. except for Darren G, we have difference of opinion. Of a lot of time for Billy Moore, you know. Uh, you know, like I said, I've a lot of time for like Lee Marvin Hitchman and Billy Moore. Both of them are authors. I'm not going to plug Billy's book, but I will plug Lee's. If you've not bought Born in Prison by Lee Marvin Hitchman, guys, it's a very good read. Alright, you're a legend. Oh, thank you, brother.
Mark's
Yeah, not a problem.
Oh, shit. But I'm gonna drop in 5 off as well.
Why not? Fuck it. I'll see you later, Al. Thanks, yeah. Nah, like I said, listen, you're back your own. I've lived in Manchester for 32 years nearly, and it's been very good to me. You know, I grew up with a similar lifestyle to Lee. You know, and like, see Lee and Billy, I have a lot of time for them because they're humble guys, you know. I've never met Billy, but my son knows his brother, you know. My lad who lives up in Toxteth, you know, going on 12 years now. He helped Toxteth get funding, my boy. You know, and Billy is grateful for that, you know. It's a shame there's not more people like my son in the world who cared about Liverpool. You know, dedicate their life to Liverpool. Can you say that? That's why Exposure TV hates me. Because I've done more for your city than you'll ever do in 10 lifetimes, you scouse cunt. You little no-face, pussy-face, fucking gee on your lip. Yeah, where did you go when I threatened you? You deserved that. You picked on a vulnerable man when he was on medication, didn't you? But you wouldn't meet me, would you, in public on your own, because I'd smash you to bits. Wouldn't I? And you fucking know it. You wouldn't risk meeting me because you know I would embarrass you. Do you understand? Is that it? And I come on my own, or with one person, my brother. And you can put 4 people in the car around the corner and you get bashed with them too. I have more people in your city that like me, that like you. You see? Justice for the 97. And may they all have a bed in heaven. I'm your worst fucking nightmare in a way. Because I give plaudits to the Scousers and I'm a Man United fan. You hate me. All because my son got your city funding. And you said I had the blackest teeth on YouTube. And I said 10 bastards of your generation would not do enough. Because you're a greedy hobbit, like most of the YouTube community that charge people money. And I don't like you. You never liked me, so fuck you. Why should I like you? What, because you're a Scouser? Do you know how many people I despise in Dublin? Yeah. Because I'll tell you why, bro. Because when I was on medication, him and his channel tried to bully me, bro. Telling me I had a shit channel, saying I was a junkie bastard, I was this, I was that. When I was on me mood stabilizer, so he took a liberty with me. He violated me. He said it first, bro, not me. And PP2 said I had a shit little channel. I love the Scousers, bro. My son lives up there and works up there, 12 years in Toxteth. He told loads of people to blackball my channel. All because I was Irish. And all because I've done more in his city than generations of his bastard sons. How about that? You see, my son has a daddy. Yeah. You see, I'm off my mood stabilizer now. And you know something I'm gifted with? See me eyes. They're the best gift I have. I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I see videos in my head. And anytime I need to refresh my memory, I just Go back inside me head and I'll see your face. You said I had black teeth, didn't you? You've got a vagina on your face. I'd never forget your face. Do you understand? I'm not the one that hides my face. If you were one of the lads, you would have put it on me on your own. And in all fairness though, I will say this, when I first come on the YouTube community, I used to get on with Expo until he took the piss one night while there was fucking 900 people or something in his life taking the piss out of me because he's on medication and all, bro. Do you understand? He started all that, not me. Do you understand? But he didn't want to finish it, did he? Hey, did he? Used to be and cracked in. Why, have you any? Do you want to sell them? Let me know. DM me. Get a right, dickhead. Ex-smackhead. You fucking degenerate. You get that little midget out of my chat. Yeah, I bet you're another fucking no-face young little fairy. Scousers have integrity. Some of them. Same with Dublin people. Everyone's got an arsehole. And your boy, it'd be smashed to bits. Yeah, he'd meet Ben Hatcher, but he wouldn't meet me. Yeah, we fucking both know why, don't we? You wouldn't be the only one with a carload of people around the corner, just in case, because you're a sly weasel. I'd see that. I'd anticipate that. Do you understand? Because I come from that world. You don't. You're a fucking nerd. And any of my pals will come in and tell you I can handle myself. I've always been able to handle myself. It doesn't matter if you're 19 stone. It's like you're going to run at me and I'm going to spark you once with that or with that. And I'm not a tough man, a hard man, or a fighting man, but I have a couple of bangs left in that there, right there. And I don't miss. You don't get a right hand like that and miss. You see, I've smashed them bones in my hand there. And there. Now, some people tell you I can fight to the point where I broke bones on people's fucking faces. But I'm law-abiding now. Only Bowsies do that. You know, and bullies do it. You know, I learned how to handle myself. Well, my father learned me. I just learned how to be more disciplined with it. Like, I'm not a tough guy, a hard man, or a fighting man, right? But I learned how to fight by a tough man. I've been raised by a tough family, raised by tough friends, and you think I can't fight? Okay. Do you know what cerebral edema is? Have you ever been head kicked in your life? Properly, like I mean temple head kick. Snap. You know. Venom in it. And then you end up on a breathing machine. And because I'm a father, you understand, I'm not having that on my conscience. You know, I surround myself with certain people that know what I'm like, that have seen me have arguments with people. You know what? I'm not here for that. You know, I don't need to prove myself. I was a coach. You know, and I've coached a couple of kids, let's say, and they can fight, and guess what else they can do? Hey, go to anywhere in the world, because I didn't just teach them how to fight, I educated them, and they went on to get degrees and masters. How about that? My way works. You know, and, you know, education's the way forward, not looking up the tough guys and fucking villains and gangsters and cartel affiliates. You know, Google Cherry Orchard. Google it. Google what the media call it. Google what they call me friends. Yeah. Sometimes you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. You grow up in Cherry Orchard when I grew up. You would have grown up with a certain amount of lads that used to sit at a red wall every night drinking flagons and smoking hash, and we all wanted to be like them. You know, I want to sit at that wall one day with all them big boys. That's all I was thinking. I want to be sitting at that wall with them. Do you understand? And I'll put the work in. And I did it. And look where it got me. Hey. When you're young, you think you know everything. And you think you're smarter than people that have been there and done it. Before you were shite and yellow. But that's arrogance and ego. And ego will get you fucking killed. Anybody can fight. Anyone can throw hands. But a jab, a good jab, it'll take you around the world. Double jab, papa, just double tapping you. Ba-bam! And here, this is how noble I am. I've told you this many times. I'm not a fucking tough guy, a hard man, or a fighting man. And in our community, everybody in our Irish community is nearly called everyone out. So, yeah, you couldn't hold my fucking jockstrap. You know, everybody wants to be like everybody else, you know. You want to be a tough guy, I'll tell you, here, see Spencer McDermott, he's a tough guy. Right? Now, Yowza Tyndall is a tough guy. Harper O'Driscoll is a tough guy. Ian Gibbons is a tough guy. 3 hitmen come to body him in his ma's, near his mum's house too. Imagine your ma getting a knock on the window and then you having to open the front door because there's someone stood at your door with a fucking Glock ready to shoot you with 12 bullets. You know why? Because you wouldn't shut your fucking mouth and you were warned. Spencer will tell you that. And you know the same person, I forgive him. Do you know what he did? He got a fucking shotgun from a railway line where I was laying on my knees and handed the shotgun to someone to shoot me with it. And I forgive him because he's a gibbon. Guys, I'm going to have to... Yeah, Spencer, my brother just rang me. Spencer, listen to me. You know Ian Gibbons handed someone a shotgun to shoot me. Okay, you grew up on our housing estate. I'm not a tough guy, a hard man, or a fighting man. But you know all these as facts. I had a 12 gauge put in front of me while I was on my knees on a railway line. And my fucking best friend handed someone a shotgun. Am I right, Spencer? Would that be a fact? So, all this bullshit with you wankers on YouTube here, yous don't come from my world. I've had a shotgun pointed at my head, and do you know what I said? Fucking do it! Fucking do it then! But he fucking didn't. That's how I knew they weren't like Dottie or Marno Highland. Because if I'd have signed to Marno Highland, shoot me, do you know what he would have done? Blown my head off. Hey, Spencer, he would have blown my head off and I wouldn't have signed here, fucking shoot me to him. I'll tell you that. Because he would have lightened me up. He'd have shoot me in my legs first, just for being smart. And this is what I'm saying, Spencer, right? Now, just imagine, right? I had been still involved in that world, okay? Where my trajectory was going, the asylum, then getting into all that trouble. I would have been up at top of that tree, or would have been part of the tree. Does that make sense to you? You come from where I come from, and you'll know if I'm talking bollocks or not. And Spencer, here's the thing, you know, Gibbo, I couldn't believe it. It's like when I bumped into him in the hospital. Harpo said to me he was dead. And living in England, the time I've lived here, I believed him. And he told me Gibbo was dead. And when I bumped into him on the hospital corridor, you can imagine the scene, like a Western. I'm walking past him, and he goes, Jude McDonald, and bro, Spencer, I nearly died. I'm like, fucking you're the dead man. Lisa's dad was after passing away a few hours afterwards, right? Now, you imagine that. I seen him on a hospital ward, right? Now, Spencer, you know, Gabe, if I had a punch in him in the face, he was losing his job because he was going to swing back at me, right? He said to me, Jude, I've always wondered if I ever seen you again, what I'd say to you. He said, you know what? I need your forgiveness. I said, you what? For what? He said, for what I did on you. I was like, listen to me. You're me brother. You're a Christian, aren't you? Yeah. Well, so am I. I forgive you. I put my forgiveness upon to you. He's like, you're not going to do that when I get out of work, are you, Jude? I said, do what? He said, do what you used to do. I said, what are you on about? He said, Jude, I know what you're like. I can see it in your eyes. He said, you're waiting until I get outside this hospital. No. The old version of me would have been waiting outside. I'd have running you over and you know it. But I can't forgive everybody, Spencer, and not forgive Gibbo. We were both drug addicts, bro. You know, would I have done it to him if the situation had been similar? Yeah, because he got a call to turn up in a certain location with that weapon. He didn't know I was on my knees. I could see it in his face. He didn't know. But because he did that, Spencer, without blowing my own fucking trumpet, you know I was one of the popular lads on that corner. And a lot of the boys had my back. You understand what I mean? And when he did that on me, Spencer, they all wanted him dead. They wanted him dead. But I'm glad he's not dead, you know, because he come on the channel there last year and it's like I said to him, listen, you're fucking here for a reason. We've reunited. We bumped into each other for a reason. That's not coincidence. God did that. Spencer, I bumped into him the same day my partner's dad fucking passed away. That was God telling me something. You know, and he said to me, you know what, Jude? He says, for years I've been tormented by you. He said, what I did to you is unforgivable. He said, but I'm going to ask for your forgiveness now. I said, you're fucking forgiven. You're alive. I thought you were dead. I said, if anyone's going to kill you, it's me. And here, we will not fucking fail on the fourth attempt, you cunt. But I give him a cuddle and I was like, I'm just delighted he's alive, you know. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you know, you look great. He's like, Jude. He's like, fuck off fucking with me. I was like, I'm not fucking with you. He says, I can see it in your eyes. You're going away from me when I get out of work. I said, I'm not that person anymore. You know, I have a missus. I have a family, you know. I'm a Christian. Of course I forgive him. You know, fuck's sake, he was under heavy pressure to bring that weapon to that spot. You know, imagine how he had a feeling, Spencer, when he turned the corner and come down the railway and seen it was me on the ground. Do you think he'd have come in if he had known it was for me, Spencer? I'm going to ask you that honest question. Do you think he'd have come in if he had known it was for me? Please answer me. Because I don't believe he would. I could see it in his face. He did not know it was me, man. And I was like, fucking do it then. You know, you fucking snake bastard, you. I'll tell you what, you better hope that I'm dead. And if here, I'll see you in heaven, you cunt. You know, I thought you were going to kill me. You know, yeah, I thought you were going to end me. And in all fairness, my heart was broke, Spencer, because it was him. Do you know, I felt like William Wallace being betrayed by Robert the Bruce. You know, when William Wallace, he knocked him off a horse when he come back. And seeing that look of contempt on his face, I just felt defeated. I was like, how could Gibbo do that to me? You know, why the fuck would he do that for me? I'm in debt because of you, you cunt. You know, I'm in debt over you and you fucking do this. You know, I was like, fucking shoot me then. How about you do it, you fucking weasel? I said, you're fucking dead. You know, I said, I'll tell you what, you better pray none of my family fucking find out. I'll see you be buried. You know, because I thought you were going to fucking end me, Spencer, you know. But he frightened the bollocks out of me, you know. And Spencer, I had to make a decision, you know. Me ma's gaff was there, the fucking windows are going in, you know, and then me uncle's then, they're fucking killing someone. You know, don't fucking go near my sister's house, mate, here. Jude's not on his own, know that. He's got a family. Blood family. That'd die for me. You know. But there was loads of bullies up in Cherry Orchard when I was growing up, you know. And he needed all the red wall mates behind him, you know. It's like, but I tell you one thing, I'd love them to stand in front of me today. Any one of them, Spencer, even though I still respect them, I'd knock every one of them out individually on their own now. No problem, you know. Like I said there, a lot of them drink every day, bro. As soon as they made one move towards me, Spencer, I'd kick them in the face. You see, because I always wondered what I'd ever do if I seen those people again. Would I be able to keep my temper under control? But if the truth be told, Spencer, they set me free. I got tortured in Cherry Orchard, and you're my witness. Just like Harpo come in the live and said, Jude's not lying. Gibbo handed someone a 12 gauge and put it together in front of me while I was on my knees, leaking blood from me eye, me nose, me head, me knees, you fucking name it. And when I seen it was him, Spencer, it broke me heart. You know, I was like, you're my boy. Like, I'm in debt because of you. I'm in here because of you. They manipulated him into bringing it there. He didn't know it was me. He said, Jude, on my children's life. I didn't know it was you. I was for you. I wouldn't have come. But I had to forgive him. Because I felt bad. He's like, you know what, Jude, I've carried this for fucking years and I never thought I'd get it back. I said, listen to me, yeah? He said, you're an uncle. I was like, fuck off. I'm an uncle. He said, yeah, little Ted. I've told him all about you, Jude. I said, you know what, Ted? This is your uncle. And no joke thing, he used to be a bad boy. But he's a good man now, you know. And Spencer, if we can't forgive him, I've no chance of forgiving anybody, you know. He didn't know it was for me, you know. But I tell you one thing, I thought I was dead that day, you know. I really thought I was dead that day. But I told the boys at the Red Wall, bro, they set me free. Even though I got tortured in Cherry Orchard, it was needed. No complaints from me, yeah. You want to live that life? Deal with the consequences then, bitch. You know, so I had to deal with the consequences, as you know, and because of the consequences, I've been away from my friends for 30 years. But with this channel, Spencer, look at me, I'm sweating. With this channel, Spencer, I've reconnected with you, I've reconnected with Gibbo, I've connected with a few people, like, I've not spoke to Luke in ages, like, at the moment, I'm a shit friend, guys. I have loads of shit going on in my personal life, you know, because of my mental health issues and because I grew up with some of the nastiest bastards ever to walk the streets of Dublin. And you know what? I've got loads of people that can tell you that. I don't need to call anyone out on YouTube. You'd ring the police for me if me and you fought. You see, it's one thing fighting in a ring, but if you assault someone on the street, you would ring the police for me. Do you understand? I'd break the law and your job for free. You know, like I said, a lot of people, you know, they take you for granted, but you're not. Spencer, why didn't you tell me I was muted? You bowsy. Come on, me go out. I'm gonna make you a cup of tea and we're gonna listen to some music. So, Spencer, I'll tell you what, listen to me. Who do you reckon is gonna win between Usyk and Dubois? We need to do a fucking StreamYard. In fact, here, what time is it? Spencer, are you free at 6? See if we can get Finn on as well. Like I said, I have a target to hit and everything is about my discretion and my time. Now, so it's going to take me time to hit my target, but I'm not too far away now. You're going to have to stay there a second. Yeah, fuck yeah, you. Hang on. I'm trying to put my phone here. 1 second. Right, can you see me? Jesus Christ, Spencer, look at all the wrinkles on my face. It's one thing having wrinkles on your balls, but on your fucking face, bro. But like I said, Spencer, many years ago, myself, yourself, and a lot of our pals, we all grew up in similar circles, you know. Like a lot of these clowns on YouTube, they look up to fucking goons, you know. And I used to be one myself, a big goofball, wanting to impress me mates, the class clown, the fucking crash test dummy. You know, like I said, yeah, I got a little taste of Dublin gangland and I wanted more. I wasn't happy with what I had, Spencer, you know what I mean? I was making £3.5 grand a week at the time. I had a mint apartment in town. You know, it's like I was living the dream, I wasn't away. But I was unhappy. Ooh, hit me, baby, one more time. Come on, Spencer, let me have a little spark. Come on. I'll be just like that. Look, bang, bang. Come on, Spencer, get all the bowsies out. Hit me in the face. Come on. Hey, Spencer. I think I asked you this yesterday, comrade. Okay, where does Chris Eubank Jr. go from here? Yes, bro. Well, Spencer, like I said, myself and yourself, we grew up around a lot of fucking psychopaths, you know, and it's like the same with myself. Like, it's like, you know, Lee Marvin Hitchman's wrote a book, yeah, about his life and his story and all. And Spencer, do you know something, yeah? If I was to write a book, yeah, full disclosure, nothing left out. And you know what? I've been keeping notes a while, so don't forget, you know, but the day Ian Gibbons betrayed me and the gun was passed to somebody, I won't say who, but Spencer, he didn't have the bollocks to do it. Do you understand? I got bashed with that fucking shotgun because I was telling him to do it and he wouldn't do it. He tried to do it. He didn't even know how to fucking use the thing, for fuck's sake. It's like, I always have a contingency plan. How can you fire a shotgun without a firing pin? You see, I'm smart too. But they beat the shit out of me that day, you know. And him, I was like, see you, you're dead. You know that, don't you? Well, when my mates gets hold of you, you're fucked. Because Gibbo didn't hang around the corner, Spencer, as you know. You know, he wasn't one of us back then. Like me, when I went into the asylum, I brought Gib on board. Do you understand? And Dougie, three of us, you know, nobody had acted bollocks, you know what I mean? It's like, and I ended up paying his bill. So can you imagine, I was in debt over him, and then after getting the beating in my life, seeing him handing someone a shotgun, I was like, are you taking the piss? I'm here because I owe money to a few people over you, you know, and you're fucking doing this to me. But I could tell by his reaction he didn't know it was me. But for a fucking minute, Spencer, I was like, well, they're gonna fucking kill me and anyway, so fuck you, mate, and your face. Yeah, and fuck your ma too, you know. And Spencer, he bashed me with the rifle. Well, with the gun, sorry, shotgun, not rifle. But in all fairness, Spencer, that was a blessing in disguise because he ended up coming to Manchester and it changed my life, you know. Get up, you bowsier. Go on now with that, you big bowsier. Yeah, so, like I said, Spencer, on this YouTube community, okay, 75% of them aren't like us, okay? They've not grown up where we've grown up. They've not seen what we've seen. Do you understand? It's like, here's my sister in our big fucker fancy ass car. Aye, aye. Here's my sister. Easy. Yeah, do you want me to do an Indian dance with my sister?
Who's on there?
I'm just on me live.
Yeah.
Hey, like that, look. Got the move. Hey, I'll be doing. Do you not like me dance move?
Yeah, I love it.
Go on.
Oh, dear, the Egyptian.
Give us some of that. Good dance, isn't it? It's the sun, sister. That's what it is.
Let me check the back garden.
How you been? Just with me sister. You know, my sister looks like me, you know. No, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, my sister's much handsomer than me. Oh, fucking thing. Do you hear what we're listening to? Yeah, I can dance to that. Fucking thing. What are you laughing at? That's some Punjabi fucking shit right there. Go on, yup. Isn't it? Punjab.
Where's Mark?
He's gone to the pub for a pint.
Which put off every time.
Yeah, Al's gone down to yours.
Yeah, I know.
Jen, come here. Where will I get one of them?
The vape shop.
Which one?
There's one near mine and there's one near
So much would you pay for one of them without the oils?
£25.
I need to get one.
£25 and then the oils are only £1.
Jen, I've about fucking 100 of the oils up in the house. At least a biscuit and some other different flavours. Check you with driving out in the whip on the nice hot day and all. You're living the dream, you are. Go on, you bowsy.
Oh, I don't. I had a bit of a sad episode last night.
You did. Well, she's always with you, you know that.
We got the car clean and I was just looking at all the gardens and done it all.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the car and I was stood over the like leaning over the fence, having that. No, I just was sat there and it molded me and I was thinking, like,
Yeah, but like you have to look at, she's looking down on you and she'll be happy for you. You know, your life's good.
I just feel sad that she's not really here to share it or see.
I fucking know, I am too, Jen, but it's like fucking, you have to, you know, look, she's will. Go on, I love you, sister. I'll see you later, bro. Yeah, go on. Go on, you ball, are you? Me little sister, man, I fucking love her to death, I do. I'd kill for her if I had to. So, yeah. Nah, listen, Spencer, my mother taught us all how to love, you know, and it's like, God put you on earth, bro, and he put you with people, you know, that you're meant to be with. Like I said, my family's all around me, bro. My family's all around me, you know, bringing me up fucking halal food. I convinced me cousin Trevor last night Mark was Muslim. I fucking got him. Yeah, but today Max apologised for calling Finn a bollocks and Finn apologised for being a bollocks. But it's great because everything's good. But like I said here, them cunts, listen, I've a lot of love around me and I've a lot of love to give. And like I said, it's like, I'm happy I'm alive because Spencer will tell you, I had a death wish me before I left Ballyfermot. I was an adrenaline junkie. You point the gun at me, you better kill me with it. Because if you don't, I'll creep into your gaff and I'll light it up while you're asleep. And that's what my mental state was like before I become a father. I could have endangered a few people's lives. But I walked away, you know, because I deserved it. I deserved the beating I got, you know. And in all fairness, Spencer, you know them lads that did that to me, they saved me life in a way, you know. You know, and do you know what I like to see as well? Spencer, there's a few people in Ballyer that have channels, YouTube channels. Tell you whose channel I think is deadly? Jimmy's. You know, yeah, Jimmy K's page, Spencer. You know what I mean? The Ballyer fucking thing. Ballyer Legends, man. Some of the photos he has on there. I was watching it the other day and I could see a picture of McNeil, you know, from years ago. We were terrified to go over into them fields. If he caught us, he'd shave our eyebrows with a horse fucking shears. You know, and Brian, like Macca, you know, he used to like me, Brian. You know what I mean? But he didn't like Gibbo. And neither did Jackie. I remember we were in the asylum one night, yeah, and Jackie come over and she grabbed Gibbo, right? I'm looking at Gibbo and she has him by the neck. You know, I'm like, how was that possible? Like, one leg was coming off the ground here on me fucking mate, bro, but I'm not getting involved with that. Fuck no. But the fact that I backed him all the way at every corner and fucking it's like, for him to turn on me like that and to hand one of them mad bastards a weapon to shoot me with. But true forgiveness in your heart is when you can forgive somebody that really fucking wronged you, like, you know, to the point. Do you understand? Like, but I forgave him, Spencer. You know why? Because I'm Christian and I'm God-fearing and Jesus died for everybody and their sins. So the least I can do, here, bro, forgiveness is a 91, 90, 10. Do you understand? A 99% to 1. Like, if you're God-fearing, bro, you'll forgive anybody. Unless they do something to your children, bro, I'll forgive you. I could forgive me brother if he was a murderer, bro, but if he was a fucking nonce or a rat, it caused me problems. You know. But my brothers, we have this thing, you see. You can torture me and I won't fucking, depending on how fucking creative you are, like, but if I had a ass in Marno Highland to shoot me in the head, he would have blown my fucking head on me neck. You know, if I had a ass in Dotty to shoot me, he'd have probably shoot me in the leg for being stupid. But Spencer, all the lads that myself, yourself, Gibbo, Yowza, Harpo, that we all grew up with, you know, it's like, few of us are still here, you know, to tell the tales. Well, not tell tales, but, you know, like I said, sometimes you need a beating in life, you know, because you don't realise the collateral damage that it can leave. Like, you can fuck someone over, but, you know, if you fuck off to London or to Manchester, your family are still there. Anybody can be touched, you know. It's a sad world we live in, but me and Spencer, we come from that world. I used to come from that world. And the good thing is with Spencer, Spencer's from the same avenue I was raised on, being Cherry Orchard Avenue. Spencer's mammy was a legend, Agnes. And when my mammy was sad and she needed someone to go and talk to and to cry, because my ma never got over her 2 children dying in a fire. And my ma used to go down to Spencer's mammy, you know. And what I didn't know is my ma knew Luke's mammy too, you know, and it's crazy, like, because Yowza's mammy, Harpo's mammy. You see, born and raised in Ballyfermot are some families that everybody fucking knows, and we're all linked. We're either friends or we're family, or we're friends of family. And I've a big fucking family. My granddad must have been a randy bastard, man. He mustn't have having a telly back then. You know, my ma told me she pawned his overcoat one night and he went to hear her. And me uncle stood up and says, "You put your fucking hand on my sister, mate, and I'll drop you boxing fucking on her." My granddad was in the army and he was a tough guy. He boxed in the army too. Joe Knowles, my senior. My uncles grew up in Ballyfermot when Ballyer was full of tough guys and rogues in the 60s, the 50s, the 70s, 80s. And you know what? I've never needed my family for fuck all. Now, I don't mean me immediate family. I mean the ones back home who think they're better than everybody else. Yeah. Them cunts. You know, who throw big boulders at people when they're going through things, and then what happens is you think your own shite don't smell, and when you get a couple of quid, you start looking down on people thinking you're better than them. Mia, there's more class in a fucking stamp. That's the way I see it. You know. But when it comes to being at home, it's like, you know, Spencer, like myself and Spencer, we've got so much in common. When I was a child, when I was a teenager, I used to go to this club called DCM, Dublin Christian Mission. And they used to take all the naughty kids and the underprivileged kids away on holidays every year, free holidays. And all you had to do was to listen and learn about God. So I did that for 5 years during my childhood. I'd say from 11 to about 16, I went 5 years consecutively to learn about the book, to learn about the Lord, to learn about what He died for, who He died for. And it's crazy because Spencer, when I stopped going, Spencer's a few years younger than me, not much. There's about 5 years, I think, between us, maybe. There could be a little bit more. But Spencer was like the next generation of people going to DCM from Ballyfermot, and it changed my life, you know, because I learned a lot about God, you know, and God's your mate. He'll never desert you, and he'll never ask you for anything. He'll just take something if he wants to. Like lives. My granny used to say, God only gives you what he can carry, right? You know, and he's been a bit mean to me, God. From 4 years old, God showed an interest in my life. For some reason, he chose me to strike a match, to burn me house down, to kill me brother and sister in the fire. And he did that. He woke me up that morning. For some reason, he wanted my little brother Daniel, who was 2.5, and my sister Angelique, who we don't have a picture of to this day, 7 months old. I got under the bed with a box of matches. I did this. And 5 minutes later, me flat, me mother's house, sorry, the flat in Fatima Mansions was up in blazers. I got out from under the bed, like certain things like that you don't forget. And even though I was only a 4-year-old child all my life, I felt responsible because I used to see me old ma crying. You know, she never got over it, you know. And I can't do that. Up until 3-4 years ago, I forgive myself. And I asked God for forgiveness, you know. I don't have a picture of my little sister that died in the fire that day. Everything got burned. And I said to myself, that's not happening. Like, if I die tomorrow, my children have more than a photograph. They've got 20,000 videos of their dad being a fucking dickhead. You know, and they'll look and they'll say, you know, my dad, he always wanted to help people. He seen the good in people, you know. Yeah, that's my legacy. People say, see, Jewett, he used to help people. Team survivor all the way. God spared my life on that railway line about 50 feet from where I'm sat right now. You know, he put Lisa in my life, he put Thomas in my life, he put Lily in my life, he put Gibbo back into my life for a reason. You know, he said to me, I always wondered, Jewett, what you'd do if we ever bumped into each other again. Do you know what he said to me, Spencer? No, here. I was like, what? He said, no, here. I said, what are you on about? He said, I know what you're like. I said, no, you don't. I'm a changed man. He said, Jewett, I can see it in your eyes. You know, swear. I said, listen to me, you fucking dickhead. I'm a changed man. I forgive you. We were drug addicts. You didn't mean it, did you? No, I didn't mean it. Right then. Because you know I'll find out when we get to heaven and I'll whoop your ass. But we managed having a cuddle and we spoke and he said, how's things? I was like, well, my father-in-law is very sick. And a few hours later, we knew how sick. I don't believe in coincidence, Spencer. I was meant to bump into Ian Gibbons out of all the places in the world to bump into somebody that handed someone a shotgun to execute you. And there he is, right in front of you like a gazelle. And I was so hungry at the time. I would have gotten nourishment out of eating his heart right there. That's what my mind was telling me to do. But my heart was telling me to forgive him. You see, Spencer, as you know quite well, I am Old Testament. Me. Yeah. And I believe in God, and I believe in forgiving people. Everybody deserves forgiveness, because the Lord died for their sins, Spencer, as you know. We went to Bible school. Do you understand? It's not as if we were not educated on the book. A lot of these pagans don't get it. You know, it's like, since I've come off that medication, everything has come back, Spencer. Everything that I tried to bury. That lad that you remember walking away from that them ends, that housing estate, Spencer. I did everything in my power to bury him for 30 years, and I did it. And since I've come off the meds, he's come back. And I can't get rid of him. And because of that, I nearly fucked up the most important thing in my life, which is my family. And I had to take a step back and say, Jewett, you're in the fucking wrong here, bro. You know, don't be a fucking contradict. Don't be a walking hypocrite. You need to face this. You know, and it's not hard admitting when you think you're wrong. It's not thinking I'm wrong, it's knowing I'm wrong. You see, the difference now is, when I was 4, I didn't know the difference between right and wrong. And because of that, I've had to go through my lifetime feeling guilty for lighting a fire in 1979. And at 6 o'clock, it was on the front page of every paper in Ireland. You know, and you know Spencer, right? You see me ma, she couldn't get past it. She was a coping schizophrenic and she died not being able to forgive herself for leaving that day. But if the truth be told, Spencer, there was a shop van at the bottom of the flat, for fuck's sake. You know, we lived in F, I think, block. And we lived on the top balcony, end gaff, yeah. Uh, bars on the window. Even if, Spencer, even if we had been 10 feet above the ground, I'd have trying to fucking run them out the window. You know, I tried to drag the cop, but it was too, I just couldn't. And the gaff was in flames. And I just looked and I seen the milk crate in the hall. I stood on it, opened the door, moved the crate, and as soon as the door opened, I was blown onto the balcony. I was on fire, and some geezer ran down the balcony and saved me, but he couldn't get into the flat. The flames were coming out the door. He tried though, but they died though. So mental health has been like a companion to me. It's always been there. And because of them details right there, that's why I've had 93 psychiatric evaluations, because dead people used to come to me on fire. Sorry. Now when you smoke a joint and a bit of fucking. But I learned how to overcome it. You see, it's very hard to overcome something when they come to you every night on fire when you're asleep, between 3 and 6. But that's another reason why I make a lot of content, because I don't have one picture of my sister. Whatever we had that day got burnt. So I said, my kids won't have that problem if I ever die. Covering all bases, Stuart. You got this. And you don't need your team. Do you understand? I've grew this channel. You know, and I've managed to overcome and accomplish a lot in my life. You know, it's like... So you're gonna have to fuck off and wait a second. But like I said, I do it 10 times over in order to meet me missus. You know, we all go through trauma in our life, and if I told you some of my trauma, you wouldn't believe me. Like, I used to wake up screaming. I used to see Keith Collins with a waterfall coming out of his chest and his mouth and his nose at the same time. That's a fucking hat trick. That's why I knew he was dying. Nose, mouth, chest like a waterfall thing. Spencer, you know the night that Mick R. Wallace stabbed my friend? No, you were a bit younger. And you know what, Spencer, yeah? In a short space of time, I'd witnessed Keith Collins take his last breath. Yeah? I witnessed Raymond Vickers take his last fucking breath too. You know, me, Les Kershaw, Darren, Anthony Flanagan, we were there the morning that Raymond Vickers fell out of the fucking tree, Spencer. We were in the same fucking class in John's College. We were out having a smoke. There must have been 5 of us on it. Next of all, we just heard, bang! He fucking landed on his head. You know, he landed on his head. Fuck. Like, and bro, the noise of it. But I used to have dreams. Keith Collins used to come to me, Spencer, and I'd hear him calling his ma and shit. You know, like, same way you do it. You know, if you had been with me, I wouldn't be dead. Yeah, I know everything about him. But like I said, I don't really want to speak about it. But if there's anything you need to say, Finn, say it. And if I can't fill in the blanks, Spencer will. Because Spencer, who was older, Kenneth or Chris? Or Chris or the other fella? Who was the oldest? Finn, Spencer is the guy to ask about that, because I can't speak about it. In all fairness, because like I said, yeah, Spencer gets why I can't talk about it. But I knew the two of them, and so does Spencer. Know the two of them. The papers were stuck in your mind, yeah. If I was to tell you, Finn, like I said, I'll talk to you on Instagram about it. I'm not going to talk on here because, like I said, a lot of my friends were implicated in that. So I can't speak about it. But what I do know is there can only be one alpha in Ballyfermot. Not two or three. There's only one. It's like, and everything is about power and locations. Being the entire Ballyfermot, the entire Clondalkin, the entire Tallaght, Cabra, Ballymun. And one day, in a land far, 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 far away that I walked away from, 30 years later, snowballed from a gang, a street gang, into a cartel. How about that for a story? Like I said, I'm a God-fearing man, and I grew up with killers. In fact, Paul was the oldest. Like I said, I don't like speaking about it because a few of my mates were implicated, allegedly, you know, so like I couldn't talk on that thing, you know, because a lot of people, a lot of Ballier lads watch me, you know, so like I said, all I can say is rest in peace to both of them. You know, you have to understand something. Okay, in Dublin, in gangland Dublin, the Dublin I remember wasn't as brutal as the Dublin gangland in 2025. You see, me and Spencer can tell you a few stories. I'll tell you a story, Spencer, I heard, I don't know how true it is, without naming anybody, about a certain person. Now, this is the golden rule if you're interfering with cocaine. Before you are doing business, do not mix pleasure with it. I have an old acquaintance who had 20 kilos allegedly in a suitcase in Spain, Valencia. Yeah, and he must have having a few cheeky lines, got paranoid, heard noise outside the door. Have a guess where the suitcase went? Out the window. Spencer, imagine that after having a few lines and you think it's the feds and you fuck the suitcase out the window. Imagine me and Spencer or Finn are walking past that window and you get hit with a suitcase with bricks with a skeleton on and a big X on it. Right? Now, allegedly, I grew up with a few tough guys, a few smart lads, smarter than their brothers, is all I'll say. And it's like, yeah, like I said, me and Spencer, we grew up where it all began. Cherry Orchard Avenue. 5 doors down from Spencer McDermott's mammy was the famous, world famous Red Wall Gang. Can I get an amen? Hallelujah. I want to sit at that wall one day. Why do you want to sit with them, Jude? Why don't you want to sit with us? Because you have no ambition. You see. Now, when I was younger, I had ambition. I wanted to do something. Whether it be selling papers for Mick Kelly Spencer, whether it be working in Payne's Butchers, or whether it be working in the asylum, I always worked. I always wanted to earn and learn. You know, it's like, and I wanted to learn off the toughest lads. And I got to meet a few lads that were high caliber lads. Some of them in the RA, allegedly. Some of them just street criminals like myself. But by the time we were established, I knew every bowsy from Finglas, Blanchardstown, Crumlin, Cabra, Ballyfermot, Tallaght and Clondalkin. You know, and it was crazy. It's like, that's how I got involved in it, because I wanted to be and do something. And I knew selling drugs was a way. Because my dad had to work 6 days a week. And my ma still had a fucking loan, man. You know, my ma struggled, and I didn't want to be asking my ma for money. You know, I'll make me own. You know, all I need is some collateral. Do you understand? And I can double it. I know how to do it. And in fact, it's going to be much easier if I help me mates. Because they're asking their ma for money when we're 14. What's it for? We're going to a disco. What disco? The one in town. It's called The Apartment. Yeah, I want money for disco. She didn't hear the other part. Biscuits. What was that? Have you any biscuits? Did you just say disco? No, I fucking didn't. She said, I'm fucking sure you just said disco biscuits. Here, what's disco biscuits? Come here, you Bert. I know you won't lie to me. What's a disco biscuit? It's a floating device, Jane. Come here, you. Are you trying to upset me? Get out of my garden. I'm not making you tea again. I know you're lying to me. Ma, listen to me. When you're going swimming, you bring disco biscuits with you and they make you float. You know, me mate, it's a floating device. I'm like, bro, why couldn't you coming up with something fucking else? Why didn't you say it's a biscuit instead of a floating device? Now I have to try convince me mother that a disco biscuit is something you put around your waist and it makes you float. I'm like, bro, for fuck's sake, it's like, could you not coming up, you know, but, nah, Finn, look at, see, the great thing about credibility is I never come on YouTube telling YouTube about my whole life. PD did that. He come on and said on the cesspit one night, Film boy, how come you've Jude on your channel? That scumbag used to rob drug dealers. He's from Ballyfermot. The IRA ran him out of Ireland for robbing drug dealers. Listen, drug dealer, I've never robbed any cunt in my life. They tried to rob me first. Okay, and then little bits get added onto it. No, not drug dealers, just one. You know, and here, he fucking robbed me first. You know, I didn't ask him to rob me. And I didn't ask him to violate me. And he took away my soul. And my arsehole. And I had to get it back because he had the power. He robbed me and I was scared of him. So I had to confront him with a 9. I kicked the store in. I just step over carcasses, one come out. What, long story short, no knives. I thought you said a razor there, Finn. Finn on my baby's life. I couldn't believe it. You know, I give him one rap. But when I went in the gaff, he had a fucking lace around this arm. So this arm was compromised, you know what I mean? And he tried to get up, and Finn, I give him a rap or something in the jaw. and I knocked him out of his seat, and underneath him, I couldn't believe it. I'd never seen that much heroin in my fucking life. I didn't even know how much was there at the time. I just wanted to get out of there, Finn, do you understand? Because we made a bit of noise, you know, and people in the flats are coming out saying, who's he? Do you understand what I mean? I was on my own. I had to point something at somebody and say, yeah, get back in your fucking door. Do you understand? And be on your fucking way, mate. Finn, I hadn't got my face covered much, you know what I mean? Because when I come out of the gaff, like I said, I didn't know what I was anticipating walking into it. Finn, there could have been 10 of them in there. And they would have killed me, bro, and chopped me up in bits and feeding them to the dogs. You know, all I could hear was dogs barking, bro, and I thought he was going to set his dog on me or they're fucking shooting the thing. You know, and then, like I said, that had been heard at the Bridewell. You know, it's not a fucking firework, mate. You know what I mean? Like I said, and it was just a scare tactic. That's all. You know, it's like, and I got out of there. I had the best smoke I've ever had in my life. And then at 6 o'clock the next morning, being the 12th of September, Star Street Garda Station, my door went in. You know what I mean? Allegedly, they found the first time, Finn, I was out on bail. They were at that finding one batch, right? A few weeks previous, right? And I got bailed, right? So, you know the script. It's like I got out, I said to myself, fuck it. It's like, you know what I mean? I got another apartment, right? Around the corner of Mountjoy Square, right? I was living in Fitzgibbon Street, Finn. What I didn't know was, you know the owner of the building? He was the next detective in Star Street. And me gaff got raided on Fitzgibbon Street. I moved into another one of his properties and didn't know it, bro. Do you understand? And whether it be coincidence, I don't, hey, hoax, I don't know. But like I said, I've never seen that amount of drugs in my life. No money, Finn, just a fucking bag. You know, I thought there was fucking food or munchies in or whatever. And when I opened it, they were bagged up and all. I was like, I need to get out of here because I was thinking, somebody's going to miss that. Do you understand? And what if that somebody lives in these flats like Finn? When I opened the bag, I didn't think I'd get out the door. Do you understand? It's like, and when I was going out the door, there's like 10 people stood outside the door that can see me face. Do you understand? So I fucking stood there like that. Do you understand? And I get off on a fucking scooter. Do you understand? The next morning, me door went in. Fucking stupid cunt got followed. They were watching me, waiting for me to make a mistake. They even let me move into a copper's building and I didn't know. You know, I can tell you the two detectives that come through my door and they had big smiles on their faces. Larry Duggan and Yvonne Banbury. Yeah, Inspector Yvonne Banbury and Chief Superintendent Larry Duggan, or whatever he fucking is now. But the second time my door went in, Finn, I had seconds. Right, now, you think about this, Finn, right? They were already backed up into Oz's. I tried to divide an Oz into 5 parcels, right? But I was at that point in a few of it. Right, so Finn, check this, right? I moved into this building in Mountjoy Square, right? And no one them big gaffs, yeah, with like 50 apartments in them, right? It's like, but there was loads of work getting done, right? So I was on the 3rd floor and outside the gaff was about fucking 20 big strips of plasterboard, right? I hid about 11.5 ounces outside the fucking flat door, bro, just right underneath where the fucking shit was. At the time, my ex-partner, that night, the 11th of September, wait till you hear the kick-off in, right? The next day was her 21st birthday, the 12th of September. I'll never forget it. I hear the door going. I know who it is. I ran straight into the bathroom. I had 3 parcels bagged up and all. I got loads of links or whatever I got, bro, and stuck it up in my arsenal. Next of all, I come out of the bathroom, the door goes in, the first one coming in, bang! Next of all, it's like I was outnumbered, you know what I mean? I had an AR-15 pointed at me head. You know, like, move you Fenian bastard and I'll tag you, go on, mate. I'm like, hang on a minute, I'm a fucking drug dealer, what's he talking about? He said, we need to have a conversation. You know, where'd you get your weapons from? Mind your fucking business. You know, it's like, well, we'll finish this in the station. I don't know what you're on about. What weapon? The one we found near your bed. Not mine. Who owns your baby? Your baby mother? I didn't know babies know how to load bullets. Now, what's the likelihood of me running your fingerprints off them bullets? Or off one of them bullets? That's all I need, you stupid person, Jewett. We've got 111 bullets here. And do you not think one of them is going to have your fingerprint on it? Or we can go your way. We can blame the baby mother if you want. Blame it on her. Go on, put it all on her because you're a junkie scumbag. You'll do that, won't you? And I was thinking, I have a moral dilemma here. Only a scumbag would let his missus take the rap for a gun and alleged weapon and alleged drugs. So I took the blame. Because I brought to my house. Not them, not her. I did it. All on my own without the help of me friends from fucking Ballier. Hey, much scarier guys in Cabaret. Trust me. Scary dead men. I'm glad they're dead. Well, I'm not glad Dottie's dead. I'm glad Marno Hoyland's dead. Yeah, fuck you now, you cunt. You can't touch me. You always said you'd put an iron to my head if I fucked you. Well, I'll piss on your grave and there's nothing you can do now, is there? Fuck you. Now, if this guy was still alive, I wouldn't be saying this. But out of everybody in Dublin gangland, Marno Hoyland out of them all for me and Mark Desmond were the 2 most dangerous people out of them all. You know, my mates will tell you I grew up with real fucking tough guys, commanders in the Irish Republican Army, hitmen, killers, you know, and it bothered me, you know, growing up. But like I said, I'm not a killer. Not yet, anyway. But we have come close a few times, but because of my family, education's the way forward. We're the standard setters, and shame on a few of my friends here. Your kids look up to you, and now look, they're part of a cartel allegedly. And you know what? If your son ends up getting shot, it's on you. And I hope they haunt you every night like they've haunted me. You know, hey, now it's you's our turn. You see, I'll get into heaven by the skin of me bollocks, but I'll get in because I'm not a killer. I'm a lover, me. I don't like all that. But I've had friends who are like that, and they're dead now, and I'm glad. I'm glad some of them are dead. I'm glad Mark Desmond is dead, and I'm glad Marno Hoyland is dead. Okay, because I've been around them, right? And anyway, the smell of fucking dinny, and anyway, you smell of gick on them. It's like, but I tell you what, the 2 of them, if they were together, you know, I went to school with the Cunninghams. Them boys allegedly killed over 10 people, allegedly. That's 10 individual people. So I went to school with a serial killer. Serial killers. Plural. Several. Like, Spencer, this is what I'm saying. It's like, we come from a scary world, but it's like, I'm just so glad you fucking stayed away from all that shit, bro. On the other side of our life. I was only saying today, right, in my chat, I was telling people that I was in the Priory for 4 weeks and I was £600 a day. And someone said, that's fucking dear, that's expensive, isn't it? I said, I have a friend, Spencer, who probably spent £20,000 on treatment. But if we're not ready, no facility is going to help us. And you know that. But Spencer, do you know the one thing we have? We can always go back to is God. Do you understand? Well, Finn, I'd vouch for you like I'd vouch for Spencer. There's a few people I'll vouch for, bro. Look, I buried my past, and the night PD come on the cesspit, there was 1,300 people in there, and 2 of them, one was my son and one was my daughter. Now, Spencer, you know me. Now, you know I've never shot anybody that didn't deserve. Sorry, no, I'll put it another way. Sorry. Okay, when I was in Ballyfermot, I never shot anybody, bro. You know me. I got tortured in Cherry Orchard. I didn't shoot anyone up there. I was a kid. Do you understand? It's like, but then I become a fucking heroin dealer, an addict, and I was palling around with the wrong people. You know, that were manipulating me because I wanted to be like them. I wanted their status. Okay, I wanted to say hello to my little friends back in Ballier and say, here, I don't need you. I'm independent. And now look who I have on my side. I've paramilitaries, allegedly. Do you understand? Shot callers, so I can get on the need. I don't need Ballier to help me, Spencer. You know, but how deluded I was, bro. You know, I was a fucking drug addict, and I was saying about Gibbo that day when he handed them the gun to shoot me. He didn't know it was me. You know, he didn't know. And, you know, I could see the cunt, I could see it in his face. He didn't know. You know, but I was the first one, Spencer, as you know. I was the first one to get tortured in Cherry Orchard. Spencer, give me an amen if I'm telling the truth. Give me a fucking hallelujah if you want. So, I'm a standard setter. You see, I was the first one. They nearly executed me, but they didn't, because they loved me. Spencer, you know the fella that was holding that gun at my head? He said, look what you're making me do to you, Jude. I fucking love you. Smack! You know what I mean? Fucking shoot me then. You know, get it out of the fucking way for fuck's sake. You're taking your time, aren't you? Oh, mate, they bashed me with it, but what? They didn't know him. Only me and Ian Gibbons knew this. There was no firing pin in that. You know? So I knew they weren't going to kill me with it because the fucking thing was battered. You know, for fuck's sake. You know, what are you going to do? Kill me with my own gun? Only a stupid person would leave his firing pin in it. And Gibbo will fucking give you an amen for that too. He's like, you clever bastard. How did you do that? My uncle showed me. You're gonna let me kill me with my own gun? You know, it's like having a dog and going, arf! Well, it wasn't mine. I owned it 1/3 of it. Bert owned it 1/3 of it. And somebody else owned it 1/3 of it. We paid £120 for it. I had to cock it with a screwdriver. It was the same gun. They didn't even know how to fucking, you know. Here, do you need a hand with that? Do you want me to give you the firing pin? But yeah, they teach me the biggest lesson I ever learned that day. They bet me as good as me daddy ever bet me before, man. This was an ass whooping, Spencer. But here's the thing, bro. They had to do it. They had to set a standard. Do you understand? If we let you do away with it, everybody up here will not pay us, okay? You understand how that works, Spencer? Even if it's you, Spencer, listen, I don't want you knocking at my fucking door, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I broke the rule, Spencer, and I knew the consequences. And here, bro, if they had cut my ears off and my nose off, I still wouldn't have telling on them. And they knew it. You see, there used to be honour amongst us guys, you know. But there's no honour now. And I made a deal with God, Spencer, when I got out of jail. I said, God, it's Stuart. I've a favour to ask you, Your Excellency. If you save my life and my eyesight, I don't mind if I lose me nose, one of me eyes, me both ears, as long as I can see when I get out of prison. And you better kill me, because you're standing in the way of me getting out to see my son. And there's another thing you don't know about me. I can fight. And if they had a sending Lee Marvin Hitchman Wagwan to my cell that day, instead of the 3 fucking stooges. And Spencer, do you know who was there that day, right? You know Mick Wallace? You know the cunt that stabbed Keith Collins, yeah? How mad was this, right? I was on the same landing as one of the people who were with him that night, Mick Wallace from Sheriff Street. And guess what? He come into my cell trying to violate me. They thought, here, you think I'm going to forget you, cunt? You were there the night my mate died and you're coming into my cell to harm me so I can't see my son. Okay, remember this. You asked for this. I'll go to jail. I'll do my time, but my time ain't doing me, and I don't give a fuck who you are in the prison. I'm going to end up dead, me. Or I'm going on protection. Fuck protection. What am I going to go on protection for? Only rats and nonsense do that, and I'm either of them. Listen, I said to myself, listen, if they're prepared to kill me, I'm prepared to die. As long as I get out of the jail with one eye. I swear to God, and God got me out with both my eyes, lucky enough. I had to tune in some Mr. Michelin like cunt. Michelin man I call him, yeah. I tuned him in. He come to me cell to scald me with hot water and mist. Hit the fucking floor and the wall. And come back on King Kong, and he had a great fall. Just like Humpty Dumpty. Yeah, he fell on the ground and I kicked my cell door shut. And it took about 6 minutes for them to get to my door. Do you understand? And I tuned him in. You were there that night, weren't you, cunt? Do you remember Keith Collins, do you? Do you remember Keith, do you? That's what I kept screaming. Do you remember Keith Collins, do you? Hey! Fuck off! I got it back. You took one of my boys away from me. I took one of your eyes away from you. An eye for an eye. Fuck you. They tried to hurt me, Spencer. You know, I was so terrified. Like, I was fucking terrified, bro, while it was all happening. Because all it would have taken is for this guy to walk into me cell, no water, no weapon, and just grabbing me. Like the fucking size of him. You know, but obviously his reflexes weren't as quick as mine because I done a Matrix move. Before the Matrix was even out. You know, I done a kneel. You know, and I hit the wall and come back on him. And God was with me in the cell that day because I'm not joking you. I was waiting for it. I knew they were coming. Sam Maguire told me. Spencer! You know, only for Big Sam telling me, I wouldn't have known. And I thought he was only winding me up, trying to scare me, you know, because I'm Pat's mate. And Spencer, you know, when you're in jail, you don't tell people that you have gear with you, or they'll turn your arsehole inside out. 2 will hold you down, 1 will get a load of fucking gel, scratch on your arse, and stick their finger up your hole and retrieve it from your Geneva. You know, so I was stuffed like a turkey I had 60-20 bags up my arse. 3 parcels with 20 in each one. Cause Spencer, I knew I was going to be sick. As soon as I heard the door, man, I ran and got the fucking parcel up my arse. Even if I had to get one up, but I got 3. Next of all, I heard the door. So I tried to fight with them to distract them. The first one come through the door. She got a box into the face. Next of all, I was hit with a weapon. It's like, and I was on my knees and I had an AR-15 and a Glock pointed at me. You know. And all that shit, all for that, what? But when I was in prison, Spencer, I'm not joking you, I've never been that afraid. You know, and I knew, because the copper said to me, he said, because I was out on bail for selling a small amount when they raided the gaff, but Spencer, they had a fucking field day when they found that. You know, it's outside your door. What are you telling me for? It's not mine. I guarantee you your fingerprints are on the back. They weren't you. I wanted them. They had me. I wasn't expecting them coming through the fucking door. My fingerprints was all over it. You know, you don't anticipate the knock. You know, smack. You know, it's like, and you know what I'm like. You know, I have mental health issues, you know, and I'm up, it's like, you know, at the end of the day, all I wanted to do was to get out and see me boy, you know what I mean? I promised them, you know, and it's like, Sam Maguire come to me, Spencer, and he said, Jude, they're coming for you. And I thought he was trying to fucking, he did scare me, but he wasn't lying. You know, he said, Jude, you didn't hear this on me. He said, you know, he said, you bring Anthony in with you? I said, I might have. He said, bro, I'm dying sick. I said, you're fucking dying sick? I said, did your dog go in this morning at 6 o'clock on your girl's 21st birthday? Did you have an AR-15 pointed at you while your son was trying to get into your arms? Fucking tell me you know how I feel. Get the fuck off. No, I haven't got anything, but I couldn't speak to Sam that way. Do you understand? Because he boxed me in the face. You don't speak to people like that, especially in jail, because everyone's watching. He'd have to put his hands on me if I spoke to him like that. So he says, Stuart, I'll come into your cell in a bit. He said, I'll help you as much as I can while you're in this prison, because you're my little brother's mate. Did you bring Anton with you? I said, I might have, bro, but it's up my arsenal. He's like, well, will you give us a little sort when you get it? I says, fucking right, I will, Sam, but don't fucking tell anyone because I've only a little bit. You know, and you know something, for the sake I give him, I swear to God, I think I give him, fucking hell, I think it was 8 20-pound bags, and you know something, fair play to him. He saved my fucking life, you know, and young Martin Cal. You know the one on me and Spencer, Jer's nephew. It's like, and I had him watching me, like I said, Martin see me, you know, and I got brought from the Bridewell, Spencer, to Mountjoy. As I was going into my cell, have a guess who walked past me? Young Martin Cal. You know, the young Martin, we call him young Martin Cal, right? Spencer, what is the odds of me seeing him? He goes, Stuart, what are you doing here? You're fucked. You're in Banda country here, bro. It's like, and he was a cleaner, you know, and he said, Jude, I'll come see it in a while. And Spencer, like I said, it was my first time in Mountjoy. I'm sitting on C Wing in one of the fucking cells on the wands. And I'm sitting there and all I can hear is the noise, the smell of piss and the anticipation in the air. And all I kept hearing people saying was, see you, you pal, you scumbag. You're dead. And I'm thinking here, I hope that's not me they're talking about. It couldn't be me. You know, it's like, but because of my affiliation with whoever in my previous life, these guys wanted to make an example out of me, because if they had killed me, they would have upset my family and my friends. And I was a mark, and I didn't even know what a green light was, you know, only for Big Sam. Spencer, he brought me down, right? I have to give it to him. He brought me down a radio. He said, use them wisely. I'm telling you now. He said, Jude, don't have your back to the door. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's like, I know this. I'm not trying to scare you, but you were involved with that asylum fucking place, weren't you? He's like, yeah. He said, I fucking knew it was you. He said, bro, they're coming for you. I like me little bro. I'll do everything I can to help you in here. Anyway, me first night in there, as I'm going into the cells, young Martin Carl's there, mopping the floor, right? Clean, are you? He goes, dude, what are you doing here? You know, he said, I'll come and see it in a little bit, you know what I mean? And Spencer, right, you know when you come back from the courts and that, and if you miss dinner, you know, you go straight to tea. They'll give you an apple and orange, 2 currant buns, a couple of jams, and a jug of tea. Young Martin come back, right? He said to me, Jude, he said, there's a couple of buns on that. He said, I put a bit of tobacco in and a match. Hey, mousey. He said, Jude, I'll put some matches in a currant bun. I'll put a little bit of tobacco in there. And I was like, you know, it was new to me, you know. Being in Pats is one thing, but going over to the Joy is totally different, yeah. So the first night I was there, I managed to see an acquaintance, young Martin Carl, right? Me and Spencer, we call him by that. It doesn't, so he comes back to me cell, Spencer, about 2 hours later. I hear this. There's a screw with him, yeah. He opened me hatch, yeah. He said, you know what I mean? He put me shit in, whatever, you know what I mean? It's like he opened the door for a minute to screw to let him hand me tea, right? He said, I'll speak to you tomorrow, yeah. Don't be worrying, yeah. Keep your head together, you know. I'll speak to you tomorrow. So the door shut, Spencer, know that bang. I was in the old annex at the time. Rats on the window, no bars on the window, and I had me hands on me head. I'm like, I fucked up here. You know, I was meant to go back to England. I had, you know, you fucking stupid cunt. I'm like that, Spencer, look. I'm like that mousey in the annex, like that, look. I've got 3 parcels up my arse, right? I'm sat there crying, and I can just see my son's face that morning. Larry Duggan, I didn't know Yvonne Banbury. When she come in the door, I hit her straight away, you know, and then I was overpowered by some of Star Street Swiners Garda. Larry Duggan, Yvonne Banbury, Detective Larry Duggan. So, I had a 9 in me loft. Now, they're lucky I wasn't near me, because I would have ended up getting shot, because I would have just shooting through the door, you know. But, like I said, at the time I was a fucking addict, you know, and I glorified tough guys, and I was a tough guy's lackey. Do you understand? I was working for a tough guy, allegedly, and they manipulated me and put the fear of God into me and provided me with protection. Anyway, I was in there, and I'm sitting there with me hands on me head, yeah. I'd forgot all about me tea and all, and I'm fucking upset. I'm upset that I've upset me family. I'm upset that it was me partner's 21st fucking birthday. I'll tell you what, see, when Jude fucks up, he fucks up royal. I'm sitting there crying. I went to eat the bun. I forgot all. What the fuck? I opened the bun, right? And there's loads of tobacco, right? And a few skins, right? I opened up the fucking other one. There's a few matches, a little bit of brown. You know, and it's like I was just sat there and I was like, I forgot all about me being sick. I was withdrawing because I hadn't had me fix that morning. But I had enough shit up my arse to solve my problem. So what I didn't anticipate was It was the first time I was in prison, and it was the first time I ever put anything up me hole. And I didn't anticipate getting it back. So, I was in the fucking cell. He's had to give me fucking a jug of tea, some 2 currant buns. Picture this, you open it and the skin's on a bit of tobacco. It gave me hope. Do you understand? It's like, even though it was such a dire situation, I had a little bit of hope, and I had to say, listen, you did this. You put yourself here, you fucking idiot. You could have been in England now with a few grand in your pocket. You fucking dope. So, I'm starting to sweat. I'm feeling withdrawals. So, now take into consideration, I had no lubricant. In all fairness, I'm going to just have to tell you and admit it. No, see, I can't admit this because I'll get a hard time for it forever. Mousy, have you ever rubbed jam on your arse as a lubricant in order to try get heroin down, or is it just me? You see, I had no lubrication. And then, after sticking the jam on my arse, I realised I had butter. You know, so I was like, contingency plan, Jude, I think the butter will work well, better. Because, you know, the little bits, I didn't want them stuck to my arse. So, I'm thinking, things couldn't get any worse. So, I'm in my cell, yeah, I'm having a good row, I nearly have a row. Next of all, I hear keys. You know, fuck's sake, man, jocks up, you know, fucking. Screw looks in like, you alright, Jude? Yeah, I'm grand, boss. You know. Right, lights out, about 7:30, right? You fucking what? I was like, what's the story with that? He said, that's the fucking rules, mate. I was like, fuck you and your rules, you know. It's like, so he fucked off. So I went back to Operation Arsenal. And we Operation Retrieval Arsenal. So what I didn't take into consideration was, when I put it up my arse, I mean, I went up my arse. Right? It's like, and I couldn't get it back down from my arse. Now that's the truth, right? Now, so the night shift come on, 7:30, the lights go out. So I had another go at it. And this time I was successful. I got a parcel down from the arsenal. It was wrapped up a couple of times. I had to unwrap it. I had shite all over me fingers and all. The smell of shite on me, it was horrible, it was. It's like I'm like, this is barbaric, this shit. You know, like, this is caveman shit. You know, I'm not built for this. I'm like, how the fuck am I gonna smoke it? I've like 6 matches, a little bit of brown paper. I've got, what else have I got? Yeah, do you know what else I fucking had, right? He gave me a couple of fucking sweets, like roses. You know, like Cadbury's roses, yeah? So he gave me 2 sweets, right? But what I didn't realise, when you open it, has a little bit of foil in it, right? Now, I couldn't smoke it, so do you know what I did? I fucking snorted it. You know, and I was like, after about 2 bags, I was like, this isn't fucking hitting me, you know? I've just whacked 2 20s, 1 up each nose. I feel a little bit, you know. I had half another one next to the wall. Bang! And what I had to do was, I had to make up 3 little parcels. I put 8 bags in one, I put 4 bags in another, and the next day I give Sam Maguire some, and I said, Sam, I need your help. He said, Jude, I'll do my best to help you while you're in this jail. Thank you. I said, Sam, I've divided that between myself and you. You know, I'm on my own in here, and I need a big man like you, bro. He said, Jude, I can't watch your door 24/7. You know, even if you're filling me with gear all day, He said, I can't get involved in this. You know, I won't let anyone violate you. You know, but this is your fight. He said, so I'm going to give you something. He gave me a radio. You know, and that's all I had to defend myself when I was against screws and shit like that. That wanted me dead, and I swear that on my baby's life. All because they didn't like people from Ballyfermot, like, you know. Like, I never did anything on it. But yeah, you're gonna have to kill me. I'm getting out to see my fucking son. And Hugh MacDonald is on, I'm done, and if you don't like it, fuck you to Kingdom Come. Archers! Make me feel nice. Make me feel... Shout out to me missus. Shout out to Spencer and Mousy. Mousy, I seen you at the fucking parade the other day. It was deadly. We're making a joint. Nah, listen to me. If the truth be told, you know, while I was in jail, I was fucking terrified. Like, I never thought I'd get out and see Dylan again, you know. And I don't understand tough guys out there that say that they weren't afraid when they're in a certain place. Like I said, you know, I mustn't be a tough guy because it wasn't for me. You know, I miss my son. I was like, I can't think of. It's like I'm getting 10 years here. You know, they found 2 weapons, one with 100 and something fucking bullets that I didn't own. But I couldn't tell the police who owned it, could I? You know, and I was an insecure little prick. You know, wanted to be one of the lads and ended up getting fucking manipulated. You understand? Because I was a little prick that glorified wankers and tough guys like David Douglas and Marno Hoyland. Never mind the ones I grew up in Ballyfermot. Marno Hoyland was a next level bastard. You know, everyone knew that he was in the raw. I looked up to people like that, you know, because I knew I'd be safe. Like, if you touch me, we can touch you. You know, and that's the stability. That's the protection I wanted. So, in case one day I wanted to make a big boy move and stand on one of me fucking fellow distributors' necks in order to be taken seriously. And all I had to do was my job. I was good at selling drugs. They were good at fighting people, you know. Let me do my job. You're a maniac. You watch me and I'll make you loads of money. And I made him loads of money. You know what I mean? And he told me he'd kill me if I ever fucked him over. And I've been afraid of a few bowsies in my life. But I tell you what, you see Marno Hoyland, I've never been afraid of anybody like that. You know, like even the lads up in Ballier, like even though they're fucking mad cunts and all, it's like this geezer is just like, you know, it's like, and a lot of people know who I'm on about, you know, and I'm not ashamed to tell the world that, hey, listen mate, I don't know about you, but I've always been scared, you know, of fucking being hurt by, you know, and it's like, I was taught something by my dad as a kid, not to let you off that ground. If you're bigger than me, like meaning twice as big as me, I can't let you off the ground, unfortunately, because I want to see my kids, you know, and I'd kill to see them. Keyword there, see. You know, it's like, and I'm just so glad because I'm nothing like that wanker that walked away. I might be able to bang and I might be able to whatever, but I'm a grandfather at the end of the day, and I set standards for my children, and it's like education is the way forward. Like my kids, all of them, they'll know where their father grew up, they'll know what their father did and what he didn't do. They'll know that their father admitted his faults to the world. You know, my kids have 20,000 videos of me. I've covered all bases, you see. See, just in case I die, I've a load of videos made, you see. And that's a childhood memory that stuck with me because I didn't have a picture of me little baby sister. I said, my kids are going to have thousands and thousands of videos of me being a clown and being myself. You know, even when I'm dead, they'll still watch me videos and laugh. You know, there's some videos they'll watch that they've never seen, probably know that they don't even exist. But one thing I know for sure on this channel, 4,600 videos. And I'm about 10 subs away from another 100. That's 3,700. Rolling, rolling, roll. Shout out to my missus, you know, because it's like, that's, like I said, you know, I'm looking forward to the weekend, man, to go see me chick. You know, that's what I have to look forward to. You know, it's like, sometimes in life you have to admit things to yourself, you know. I love my chick to the point where if I think I'm fucking upsetting her mental health, I'll take myself out of the situation, even though it'll kill me. It's like, it's gonna salvage my relationship with my best pal, you know, and that's Lisa, you know. And like I said, in life, sometimes you have to admit when you're wrong. And that's a thing men aren't good at, you know. Real tough guy, aren't you? Yeah. Spencer, do you know something? I'm just so fucking delighted that we grew up on the same place, and yourself and a few of the lads can speak for me, you know. And it's like, it's crazy. It's like myself, Ian Gibbons, many years ago, we made a lot of mistakes, you know. And long story short, I know I'm a God-fearing person, and I know I have forgiveness in my life. And I had a friend who betrayed me many, many, many years ago with my own gun. Well, air gun, sorry, allegedly. And he betrayed me with it. If the truth be told, he didn't know how to put it together. I had to tell him. Only a madman would do that. But you see, I knew that weapon. You know why? I'd fired it more than once. In fact, I cocked it once and nearly took one of my mates' fucking heads off by accident. Robert Murray, rest in peace, nearly blew my fucking head off with it. He hit me a couple of times, but I'll tell you one thing, he hit me mate in the neck and in the eye. I'm fucking, one of my mates is on the ground. I won't say what mate, but this mate, Spencer, has loads of brothers, yeah. He's loads of brothers. And his brother has a nickname, and it was a cartoon before, Dr. something. Right? D. Deco. Right in the eye here. And I'll tell you one thing, at the time, Deco Lyons, mate, like, we all palled together, but Bert, you know, this battered shotgun, it fucking went off, and I hit Deco in the fucking neck, honestly, Spencer, you know, and he stood there laughing, and I'm like, bro, will you put the fucking thing down? You know, and it's mad how ironic would it be that someone tried to kill me with my own weapon, you know. But Spencer, in all fairness, you know, getting away and watching my son grow up and all, it was worth it. You know, a lot of our friends aren't here anymore, Spencer, and at the end of the day, your kids shouldn't pay for the sins of the father. You know, like I said, it's like when you come on me YouTube, I was like, I'm over the moon. Because even if only you from Ballier come into my channel and took my side and said, listen, Jude's not lying. You know, we lived that life and walked away from it with me life. A few scars and a lot of emotional trauma. You know, a lot of my mates have got executed with bullets to the face. You know, and it's not a nice fucking thing to see. You know, I went and see my mate in a funeral parlour, yeah? And he had bullets in his fucking head. You know, and it's like, his mammy couldn't have an open coffin, but I fucking seen his head. I seen an exit wound and an entry wound. You know, it's like, and my fucking best mate opened the coffin, man. I was like, Dougie, fucking close it. You know, close it, bro. It's like the amount of people that were photographed at that funeral. You know, like I said, Dottie, he wouldn't listen. Star Street Garda Station come to him and said, David, there's a significant risk to your life. There's an open and there's an active contract on your life. Dottie's like, fuck off. And Spencer, they only tried to warn him and he didn't listen, and a few weeks later he got shot 3 or 4 times, lost his spleen, ended up in the matter for a couple of weeks, whatever, yeah. He come back then and he told him again, David, there's an open contract on your life, and he told him to fuck off. And a few weeks later, going into his wife's boutique, he got fucking executed because he wouldn't listen. That cocaine, Spencer, got him. Thought he was a good fella. He had a good heart. Marno Hyland was a fucking animal. You know, that used to hurt animals, stitching them up and all. Fucking fuck that, mate. Nah, he's a psychopath, and I'm glad he's dead. Because he's another Dinny Boy Desmond, Spencer. Like Mark Desmond was out of control. You know, it's like, I'm just glad I got away from there, man. You know, I'm just so fucking glad I got away from there. And live to tell these stories, Spencer. You know, like if I write a book, it's going to be full disclosure. You know, like a lot of the people that I'm going to put in this book are dead, as you know. So I don't have to worry about them, but I have to worry about their families. So people will get a nickname in my book, but everybody will know who I'm on about. You know, rest in peace to Anthony Campbell is all I'm saying. You know, Marno Hyland was a bowsy, and I watched him put an urn to some fella's head. He's dead now, I don't care. You know, I watched him put an urn to some fella's head and solder his ear to his fucking head. He said, you see that? And Spencer, the smell, I was getting sick and all, and you know what he made? He wanted me to see that. See what I'll do to you if you fuck me over. You see him? He's got off lightly. He's still alive. He's not dead, is he? We'll let him live. Might need a couple of stitches and some plastic surgery and shit. And Spencer, he knew he had me there. I was terrified of him. There's loads of tough guys in Ballier, Spencer, but I can say, hand on my heart, you see him? I've never met anybody as ill as that bastard. You know, and you know who I grew up around, Spencer, and none of them were like him, hey, Michael. You know, I was fucking terrified of him. And I think he knew that, and he used it against me, Spence, you know, and manipulated me, you know, and allegedly I did things I'm not proud of and what have you, but Spencer, I was terrified of him. And if he had telling me to jump off a cliff, I'd be jumping. You know, because he kept saying to me, I know where your family live, you know. You fuck me over and you go back to England, Jude. I know where your family are. Listen, you won't come near my family or you'll have a major problem, mate. You'll be buried. I didn't say that to him. That's what I wanted to say to him. What, you think you're a tough guy? Because you're in Cabin, your little bubble, and you're a bully and a youngster. Yeah, well hard, aren't you? Yeah, you kill me, mate. We see you if anything happens. You would have been dead a long time ago. But you put people in this position, you know. That's why you should. Education, guys. May I teach your kids to go to school and go to college and, you know. I have a lot of mates now who am I to judge? But I have a lot of friends, yeah, who grew up, yeah, and they have children that grew up. Now, my eldest son, 31, went to uni, did it the hard way. Hungry, you see, it wasn't handed to him. He had to go get it. You think, me, it'd be a cold day in hell before I let any of my sons want to be anything like what I was like, allegedly. My way works. I've been around some smart men in my life. Much smarter than some of you, much smarter than me. You know, and I chose education and me children over me mates. Because your kids are more important than your mates. And as elders, if we've been to prison and what have you, we have the tools to teach our kids, our kin, not to follow in their footsteps. Because only Bowsies do that. I want my children to have a better life than me, a better upbringing, a better education. Do you understand? Is there anything wrong with that? Is there? My way works on, there's a lot of people, well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a few people in our community that don't like me because I try to do everything how my father taught me, like a champion. I've been on this community 7 years. I've been involved with a few big channels on here. Me and Dan would have had the biggest fighting channel on here. If Dan didn't leg it like a little fucking bitch girl. Yeah, and you know what? I know where you've gone missing. Because Dave Courtney's family are looking for you, and that video you won't show them. And me, you, and Dave Courtney before he died, you're fucked. That's why you disappeared, you weasel. You know, his family, the last thing they have in their head is him shooting himself, and you have a live, you cunt, that you won't let his family see. But I'll tell you one thing, you know, one of his kids, mate, or, you know, when I first come on YouTube, I was asked to go on a guy's fighting channel because I like boxing and kickboxing, and I have a lot of love for the sport. And if you, boxing's a gentleman's sport, okay? And if you want to go into mixed martial arts or anything like that with bad intentions and wanting to hurt people, you know, you're in it for the wrong reasons. You know, I could already have a go. That's how my dad raised me, you know. All my uncles were born and bred in Ballier. You know, like, I always wanted to make my uncles proud of me, you know, and show them I was a tough kid, that I had what it takes to be a soldier one day. Just like my granddad and my uncles. And as a kid, you pick things up. Like, for instance, I'll give you a prime example. You have PlayStations and virtual reality, and you can learn how to be a sniper in your own world. Except for my uncle took an interest in me because he learned me how to shoot a rifle, and I was very good at it and very accurate. And he said to me, "You'll make a good soldier one day. You've got good..." Yeah. It's like, and I'd say in a few years, you know, I used to watch him cleaning his weapon, and it's like, you know, you'd have the firing pin taken out of him and all that. Do you understand? It's like, but he knew a lot about guns and he read a lot, you know, about different weapons. And like, when you're a kid, you know, like, I used to look up to my uncles rather than my father, because my father was a bastard at the time. I looked up to my uncle because he was a soldier and people saluted him. I want some of that. You know, people saluting to you, you know. So I made a decision as a kid. That's what I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to serve my country. You know, I had certain characteristics, let's say, that my uncle thought helped me in my career. Like, he learned me how to shoot. You know, I shot a deer at 10 years old, and he was putting me under heavy pressure to take the shot, to send it. And I sent that, and I missed by a couple of millimeters and took the whole nose off this deer. and we followed a blood trail for 2 hours. And when we come upon it, there was a little fawn with it. And you know what he did? He walked over to it and snapped its neck like that, and walked over to me and went. He never put his hands on me, but the first time he went away to Beirut in Lebanon, where the peacekeeping force, my uncle was a hero, a decorated hero. You know, that people saluted, and I wanted some of that. And he smacked me in the face because he said, "That's your fault." He said, you know, he fucking, like I said, my uncle had post-traumatic stress disorder when he come home from war because he witnessed Derek Smallhorn being killed in front of him. You know, I was in Derek Smallhorn Junior's class when I went to the Oblats in Inchicore, and I'll never forget it. You know, I remember the first time I went out, I'm sure it was Baldonnel Airport. Me granny was there holding me hand in a little scarf and all, and waving Irish flags, and watching all our boys come home, you know what I mean, safe, you know, back to their families and all. But the second time I wasn't. All cheers and all laughter and smiles, because I watched coffins coming off them planes in Baldonnel Airfield. Me classmates that was killed in combat, Derek Smallhorn, and I said to him as a kid, one day I'm gonna go and shoot that infidel that killed your dad. I'm working on it at the moment. I can shoot as good as 1/3 of me fucking uncle's mates. And that wasn't me coming to that conclusion. That was him saying it. You know, and do you know how kids pick up things? Like, you look at kids now and look at the internet. Look at the games they play. Do you understand? Like, this was no game. Like, I put a round in a fucking deer and I took his nose off. And 'cause of that, my uncle said it was my fault. You did that. If someone puts pressure on you to send a shot, and it's like you can miss by a couple of mils, but and it cost that deer, both of them, their life. Don't get me wrong, everyone in the flats was eating fucking well that weekend, but the second time my uncle come back from war, he'd never put his hands on me, and 'cause I missed that and hit it in the nose, they were still gonna kill it. But he said, "You did that. You know, you could have killed this animal. You know, humanely." I'm like, hang on a minute, you've just snapped the fucking fawn's neck. What did the fucking deer ever do? You did that. I can't walk away and leave that deer here. You know why? Because it can't fend for itself. You did this. You got that killed. No, your actions can fucking affect shit. Imagine that. Don't get me wrong, we ate well for fucking a while, man, but I never forgot that. And you know what? I've not killed an animal since. Or shot one, and not a reindeer anyway, or a big fuck off deer. Majestic, you know what I mean? It's like, but he was teaching me a lesson. He said, "You know what? You did that." Imagine your uncle saying that to you. But I always wanted to be in the army. Here, I seen Spencer. I was watching the march. Like, I do go in and watch Mousie's channel. I think Mousie has the best channel out of us all on there. You know, he's got a good channel, man. And Finn introduced. I like Mousie. I have a lot of time for him. You know, and I think that we have the potential between a few of us. Like, Spencer, let's say one night, myself, yourself, while I'm down here. Yourself, right, guys, I'm after doing nearly a full day's work on YouTube today. I'm chasing a few more 100 hours. It's like, by tomorrow I'll be on 3,700 subs in 2 years. I know how to grow a YouTube channel. And shout out to the Irish community. If any of you are trying to grow your YouTube channel, reach out to me and I'll tell you how I've grown mine. You know, for free. You don't need to pay me money. Here, this is about pride and principle. We're Irish. You know, and they're all greedy, robbing, hobbit, cunt, scout, fucking fake wannabe Irish, fucking no face, gee lip, fucking cunt. Uh, Spencer, it's like, you know what? Do you know what I think has helped me as well? When we used to go to that DCM, you know, over the years I've watched Billy posting photographs all the time of the old campground and, you know, Mrs. Shaw and Paddy and fucking Sam and, you know, Jim, like a few of them from the north as well. Uh, listen, I've a lot of time. I like Mousy and I like his channel. Oh, sorry, love. What time is it? Oh, it's fucking 7. I said, didn't I say about 7:30? Shout out to me queen. I'm looking forward to seeing you the weekend, you know. Like I said, sometimes, guys, in life, you have to cut a piece off yourself in order to try regrow. 10 minutes yet? That's great. No problem, love. But like I said, I believe in a few Irishmen, and it's like, I think, like I said, Finn has the capabilities to have a good Irish channel, but he needs help, you know. But I got onto Mouse's channel through Finn, and I've been watching that, and I was watching it the day of the march. You know, like, if out of every Irishman on here, if I see Mousy live in the day, if I might pop in and say hello. I like your new name, Mrs. Bally, or what? You know I'm not a tough guy, don't you, Bob? I'm really a big softy, am I? You know, like, I've no one to impress. I've no one left to impress. You know, most of them are dead. But you're not, you know. I'm trying to get a suntan for you, because I'm going to look so handsome and I'm going to smell majestic when I come see you. Remember that smell? Hey, that expensive Egyptian oil. Oh, yes, it'll be all over me like a rash. You know, me brother, he buys this expensive oil. Like when he was in Egypt the last time, he fucking bought some oil. And Spencer, you can put it on your eye, and 4 days later, you'll still smell it. Do you understand? Even if you dive in your shower or fucking try to wash it off, you'll still, hey, Max, you'll still, it's lovely, you know, and it releases endorphins and serotonin. You know, as long as you're the man in your house, you know, you don't need to impress anybody, and if people don't like it, you can go fucking blow it. Mrs. Ballyer, yeah. Now, listen, like I said, you know, you know, when you meet somebody in life, yeah, that you want to spend the rest of your life with, like, but you have to work at it. Spencer, come here, listen. In a while, I'm gonna fucking ring me missus. Or me missus is ringing me, but if you want to do a stream yard at 8 o'clock till 9, if you're free, I'll do one, and I'll get Finn to dive on, if he's on. Because we've not had a catch up for ages, and guys, what you don't understand is, you see Spencer, he's a big boxing fan. So is his missus Anne-Marie. Shout out to Spencer and Ammo. But myself and Spencer, we love boxing. We love fighting. You know, like I said, I've been around fighters most of my life. You know, I used to like fighting. Me brother's the same. But I'm also a big fan of the sport, and I believe that boxing and kickboxing is a gentleman's sport at the end of the day. And if you go into any of them disciplines in order to hurt somebody, you're in it for the wrong reason. Whereas if you go to defend yourself or to learn how to defend yourself, it's like, but if you're going, say, into a gym because you want to hurt people, nah, mate. Here, you need to go somewhere else. You need to be humble. You learn how to defend yourself. It's like when you get your first ride of a bike, you don't forget. When you catch your first fish, you don't forget. When your heart is broke, you don't forget. When you fire your first bullet, when you send it, you don't forget. Especially when you hit a target. But like I said, all these little things like growing up that I was exposed to. You see my son, do you think I'd place a rifle in my son's hand and let him use it and teach him how to shoot? Why the fuck would you do that? Do you know something? Do you know what fucks me off? I've loads of mates, yeah, that do be up on their high horse, and you need to get off that horse because you're a fucking scumbag. You stood by and you let your children sell that shit and tell me that you're noble and you're a good father. Really? You know what I don't understand with tough guys? Why the fuck would you want your children being part of that life? Get them to read a book. Like I said, my son, he's 10 times a better version than I am. And you know what? I'd sacrifice 10 lifetimes away from my friends so my children can get educated and not want to be like that dad who was an ex-drug dealer or next. And the problem is now, Spencer, all their friends, their children aren't hungry because they get everything they want. Cars, houses. Do you understand? They're not as hungry as we were. Not as hungry as I was. My dad worked fucking 6 days a week, mate, and me man still had a loan, man. Do you understand? So, a lot of my mates, their daddies didn't work. Do you understand? And they struggled too. So, I didn't want to ask my ma for money. I had a brain. And I wanted something in life. Bigger and better than sitting on a street corner. I wanted to educate myself and travel the world. I wanted to be a soldier. That was me dream job. And we got that close. Right, listen, guys, I'm going to end this right 7:30. Oh, okay. Like I said, when you ring, like, tell me you're ringing and I'll just end this fucking stupid thing. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to smoke this, drink me tea, yeah, and I'll be ready. Listen, like I said, it's like when I see Irish channels, like for instance, see Mousie's channel, like I do. Spencer, I do watch it sometimes, and he does be going up, and if he notices me in the chat, he'll like show me, he'll say, Jude, look, do you remember this? And you know what I mean? And it's like, he's got a fucking great channel, and it's like you gravitate to people like that. Mousy, you can tell him and Finn are very similar. They wear their heart on their sleeve, and I love that. I love people that aren't afraid to fucking speak out about their mental health or about their addiction or about where they used to be or what they used to be fucking up to. It's like I like people that are humble, that have learned from their experiences, that don't glorify fucking drug dealers. Because at the end of the day, would you want your child to become anything like you used to be? No, my fucking watch, mate. You're going to college. You're going to fucking uni. That's where you're going. I made a promise to God. You get me out of jail and I'll do everything in my power to get me fucking son to uni, and I've stuck to that. You see, you don't break your promises to God, and even if you do, you can come back to it. Because, like I said, I'm God-fearing, and God's been good to me. You know, like, coming to Manchester was the biggest blessing that's ever happened me. And like I said, I broke the rules, and the lads broke me face and me legs nearly. You know, but Spencer, you imagine Spencer, right? I got fucked out of that field in the moving van. There was a burnt car there that broke me fall, right? A burnt out exhaust pipe that got bashed over me head. Like, I remember years ago, Christine, like, he hit me down with an exhaust pipe because I let all the boys in the night before. Spencer, somebody, right, fucked the block. You know where the red wall is, right? You know Andrew Farrell? I was babysitting one night. My man and dad went to see Johnny Cash, right? Me dad was after getting tickets for him and me man to go to Gaiety. That night, all the lads at the corner decided to go down to the red wall and throw a fucking brick. All the boys at the red wall were sitting there. A fire all on blocks and crates. The brick bounced through the fire and hit Wab Farrell in between the eyes. He hit his own brother, mate. Hey, a 1 in a million shot. Anyway, I was babysitting. Next of all, I hear bang, 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 bang at me door. I opened the curtain and there's about 5 of them. You know, all trying to get in the fucking bastard house. I let them in the house. Les Kershaw, Kenneth O'Driscoll, Andrew Farrell, Whitey, and Bert. I let them in me fucking gaff. Next of all the boys start banging at the back door saying, Jude, you're dead tomorrow. You know what I mean? And see my mates, the loyalty and love I had for my mates. I let them in my house knowing that the boys would kill me the next day, you know. But, like I said, I'm not a tough guy, a hard man, or a fighter man. I'm just raised a certain way, like, you know. We all know tough guys. You know, I grew up wanting to be one, you know. But when it comes to being a dad, you know, I never wanted my children to find out what I used to do. But I sat them down and told them because many years ago on the cesspit, PD thought he was clever coming on telling people that, hang on, film boy, how come you have June on your channel when he used to sell heroin and he was ran out of the country by the rat? He got all the stories totally wrong. But like I said, my children were in there that night, you know, and I had to sit my fucking son down and talk to him. I had to sit my daughter down. She said, did you used to do that? You know, like, that's the last thing I want my baby girl saying to me. Daddy, were you a drug dealer? When I was a kid, did you sell drugs? Imagine your kid asking you that. Did you fucking sell drugs? Sorry, while I was a kid, did you sell fucking drugs? And because of the cesspit, my kids found out. What happens on your old housing estate stays there. Do you understand? Yeah, I was tortured in Cherry Orchard, but I deserved it. Do you understand? I broke the fucking rules. And when you break the rules, there's no excuse here. You know, I trusted in me mates and they fucked me over. You know, and even though I got to hiding in my life, I didn't fucking tell on them. You know, I could have hanging Gibbo Spencer. I could have said, yeah, that cunt owes the money. You know, but I didn't. And like I said, you know, me and Gibbo have a great relationship. We talk a lot on the internet, you know. And he's like, Jude, I know you've changed because you've got forgiveness in your heart. I wouldn't forgive me. That's what he said to me, Spencer. I wouldn't forgive me. You know, but I do forgive him. Because it's like he's lived through 3 assassination attempts, and one day I'll be in his book, just like he'll be in mine. And I tell you one thing, anybody that survived 3 Dublin gangland hits, I'd buy a copy. No problem. He said, if I ever write a book, Jude, you're going to be in it. You're my inspiration. I was like, oh, you sentimental old fool. I forgive you, though. Right, guys, I'm going to fuck off. I'd kill for you, Lisa, and you know that. Like, and I always find a way. Me too. Yeah, Spencer, I'm fucking off as well. But listen, about, I don't know, maybe about 8 o'clock, if you fancy jumping on and I'll open my StreamYard for half an hour and we can have a talk about... Yeah, well, tell you what, look, right, because it's 7:20 now, right? My missus is going to ring me for a little bit, and then about 8 o'clock, if you want, I'll open my StreamYard for an hour, dive on, and we'll have a fight, or we'll have a talk about the Usyk Dubois fight. Because we've not had a catch-up about boxing in a long time, and it's, like I said, you know, I'm not far away from me target, Spencer. And the prediction videos, reaction videos. So, guys, now, that's the garden. What you reckon? Imagine having this gaff up in Cherry Orchard in the garden, Spencer. I'd have all the boys in here. You know, up your bows, yeah. I want to get Harpo back one day, that bollocks, for what he did to me with Flo. That dog, bro, fucking me in that room, the cunt. I said, you know what, if you ever come to see me in Manchester, you bollocks, if you have to get up at 6 in the morning, I'm going to make sure you've got a flat tire. You know, but listen to me, Spencer, about 8 o'clock I'll open my StreamYard for an hour. And we'll have a chat about Usyk, you know, and the fight, the upcoming fight, and the one that happened the weekend, because we've not had a talk about it, you know, and there's nobody in our circle on here that I feel more comfortable talking about boxing is you. You know, because I know you know your shit. And you know I know mine. Right, I'll be doing a StreamYard at 8 o'clock, guys. You can all fuck off. I'm going to make a cup of tea, and then I'm going to speak to my sweetheart. Yeah. I'm going to speak to my sweetheart, and this weekend she is going to get a D-art. No, sorry, Bob. No, let's make love tonight. Jayla, wake up, wake up, wake up. Got to do it right. Baby, yeah. I hear the fucking train over there. It's saying, fuck off. On your line. Yeah, when I get that feeling, that choo-choo feeling. You see, that's a fucking trigger. Do you understand? But I embrace it. You know, I embrace it because I had to face it. And you cannot replace it. Anyway, I'll see you all about 8, yeah. We out. Lisa, I'll ring you in 5. I love you.